This is Sandstorm. This is Sandstorm. This is Sandstorm.
In you and I, there's a new land. Angels fly, the sanctuary, my sanctuary, where fears and lies melt away. What's left of me? What's left of me now? I watch you fast asleep. All I fear means nothing. In you and I, there's a new land. Angels the sanctuary, my sanctuary, where fears and lies melt away. What's left of me? What's left of me? I just wait and won't sleep. My heart's a battleground. As lush summer is here. We're one with that lush Carolina. As lush summer is here. And you show me how to see that nothing is whole and nothing is broken. In you and I, there's a new land. Angels fly, the
connect yourself with the word, so you're always online. Sonic can run fast, but my Lord is always on time. I was doing the word, but only to check off the list. My Lord didn't do me like that, so why would I do him like this? It's time to push his agenda, even if the odds are stacked, because he makes a way out of no way, and he's got my back. You feel the pressure, huh? That ain't enough. We fall down, but now it's time to level up.
Oh, let me turn mine down. So. Nope.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
It's crazy. So what's up, everybody? I'm glad y'all are here.
Well, this was 2 secrets.
Yeah, the whole entrance and nobody saw any of that. So what up, RJ? What up, Trinell? Moderators in the building. Andre, I see you. Dark Void holding it down. J Big, like everybody's already stepping in. Appreciate y'all all coming in and holding it down for me. And I'm so glad. Let me put this overlay on here so we can actually see the stuff that's coming through.
Nice.
Yeah. Dang, bro, you just missed my Kingdom Hearts remix.
See?
I'll run it in the background at a later point, but yeah, I've spent not all day on that, but I was working on something else, and it just like I just slid the words in, and I was like, "Ooh, this kind of groovy." Hold on, wait a minute.
Now I got to hear that because I'm already working on my second project, so I'm looking. I'm trying to get this stuff like so far in advance. I don't want to. I want to be able to just kind of sit down and do nothing, and y'all get content the entire time I'm not doing anything.
I feel that.
Yeah, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, sir. Doing really good. Vito is on his way. I think he's just doing some stuff real quick before he hops in. Y'all know how we do. Before we jump into, let me put this on. I got to put this on Do Not Disturb, or else I'll keep looking where I don't need to keep looking. So if anybody decides to hit me up, that's on the podcast, that's on this podcast right now, and you trying to hit me up like on my personal phone, you're gonna have to wait because like I don't like doing that. Real quickly here before we jump in, y'all know how we do. Throw in a prayer and get right into this icebreaker. So, Father God, thank you for gathering us here today so that we can discuss and talk on things that we love. And obviously, you want to hop in, so go ahead and do the real quick prayer.
What?
Yeah, go ahead. They can hear you.
Father God, thank you for this day. Thank you for blessing us with our meals today. We hope that we have a great rest of the night. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I like it.
He said amen too. Okay. we are like really moving into 2025. We're almost in the second month of 2025. We've gotten some banger announcements so far. Which we are gonna discuss in a little bit later because I need to get opinions from you and from Vito.
Okay.
And then I also need to get opinions from Vito for amen to that. Thank you. Thank y'all. Yes, thank you. Absolutely. Amen to that. We need to get opinions from Vito for the Switch 2 because we haven't actually had an opportunity to talk to him about those. So let's just do the normal on the icebreaker for now until he comes in because I don't want to throw in a real good icebreaker and then he kind of miss out on the conversation on that. So what have y'all been playing lately? Jack, what have you been playing lately? And moderators, if you could throw down in the comment section our icebreaker, which is the usual icebreaker. What have y'all been playing lately?
So I just wrapped up Mafia Definitive Edition. I have to say, I don't like how it ended. I really don't like how it ended.
Which one? Wait, which Mafia is this?
This is the Definitive Edition. This is the first one.
Of the first one. Okay.
So the first Mafia, and I've never beat the original. I beat 2 and 3, but I never beat the original. So this was a good way to get into it. And I mean, I know I saw some of the reviews at the time when it came out, but man, this is a buggy mess. Like that game is buggy. Like there's areas where I almost died just because they wouldn't fall down in the manhole or climb down a ladder, and I'm standing right there on top of it. So it's a mess, but it's over with. I'm done. I went and I hopped back on to Metroid Prime Remastered. I have to say, I realized that I'm starting to get a lot older because I was comfortable going to a strategy guide with this. Like I've been in the area like stuck for a minute, and I'm like, okay, well let me see what I'm doing wrong, and it was something very simple. But I overlooked some other things, so I would have been stuck either way because I didn't get the space jump boots. I somehow overlooked them. I don't know how, but either way, those two I'm playing, and then also I started playing Ni no Kuni 2 again. I initially bought Ni no Kuni 2 a while back on PC, but now they have it on Game Pass. The Prince, I think it's called like the Prince Remaster or Prince Edition or something like that. So I started playing that again, and then also Unicorn Overlord, which I take my time with that because that's one of those games where I'll jump in. It has a lot of dialogue, so I'll jump in when I have some time and get something knocked out. And I think today was the first like challenge I really had because this is where I got introduced to enemies that kind of hold up those wooden walls that you have to attack 3 times before you can actually attack them. And going through that, trying to make sure no one dies, and then also defeating and completing the main task without the time running out. That was, somewhat challenging. But all in all, I mean, that's pretty much what I've been playing. I'm trying not to get too invested in anything Xbox related because, the inevitable trade-in is going to happen whenever we get the announcements for the games we heard from the presentation going to the Switch 2. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing, man.
Okay. For me, I've kind of backtracked into some stuff. Oh, hold on here. Hold on. Let me get into some of the stuff that y'all been playing.
Ooh, well, I see that nasty C word up there. Hopefully you're okay, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Man, you should have let us know ahead of time. I would, we definitely would have prayed on that.
Yeah. For sure.
There we go. Had to put it on repeat. Okay, so yeah. Got to teach the kids the way. Absolutely. Lead, and have them follow. Metroid Prime Remastered. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Zodia said, still Xenoblade Chronicles X. Bro, you just
I'm gonna hold off.
Come on now. Like, does that mean you're gonna pick up the game again and play it?
Ooh, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it was hard doing it the first time. Like trying to go back again after the first time and playing it. But having this long break, I feel like I can do it now. I feel like I'm ready. But Nah, I'm not going back to back like that. Dark Boy said I've been playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and holy moly, I forgot how good. Yeah. The game
Now
is
difficult.
Yeah, I was gonna say that game is actually kind of hard too. On top of that, like it's not an easy game. What up,
Not at
Vito?
all.
What up, though?
What up, man?
We just got into the icebreakers, so I'm reading off some of the icebreakers, and I'll pass it over to you. Let's see. Trinell said, "Been playing Dragon Quest 3 2D HD. It's been a blast so far. That's what's up. That's what's up." Squared said, "The usual Pokemon Go and Fortnite, but my sister finally came back from their trip and visited us, so we played Beat Untitled Goose Game." That's what's
Okay.
up. That's what's up.
I haven't touched that game in a while. Like I did it just to see like what the fuss was about, and I can see why people like it. But you know, I haven't picked it back up.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Andre said, "Been back on Mass Effect, One Finger Death Punch 2. I have to still check that out. I've only seen the first one. I haven't really seen like any gameplay for the second one. Street Fighter 3, Third Strike. Okay. And then we get back to this one. RJ said, "I haven't played anything as of late due to the COVID. At the time, I was too sick to play anything. Better now, so I need to finish Mario and Luigi Brothership." Which, yeah, let me know, man, because the more I watch that game, the more I'm like, ooh, do I want to bite the bullet?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
I'm same way.
I'm on the padding part before the final boss. Okay. But he said he's way better now. That's awesome.
Okay.
Good. I'm happy for you, bro. And then Chanel asked, "Do you guys think Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition will get a special edition?"
What exactly do you mean special edition?
Like kind of like how the original did. You know, they gave you the big box with all that. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna get a special edition this time around.
I think I think this is one game alongside like other games that are going to be like those showcases of what the upscaling is like on the new one. So that's my guess. But yeah, I don't see them doing this full on show out for a remaster or a definitive edition, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't think so. So real quickly, not quickly, Vito, take your time because you welcome back, our co-host Vito. Vito, what you been playing lately?
Give me a minute. Hold on.
He loading up his Zoid. You know, you gotta flick on the switches and everything. You know what I'm saying? Blow the dust off the controls.
Now, I've been playing Dynasty Warriors Origin. I think I mentioned that to you and Noda last night. How good of a game it is. So I've been playing that. Kind of just messing around with Astrobot, just on the sides or whatever like that. Been playing Sparking Zero a little bit because I'm waiting for them to put the baby Daima Super Saiyan Vegeta in there.
Yeah.
The whatchamacallit released 2 days ago? The DLC?
Yeah, I think that DLC was like the what was that superhero.
Yeah, because I bought the stupid expensive things where I get everything already, and I thought I think I haven't turned it on, but I think the DLC is supposed to be out already.
The expansion, huh?
Yeah. Because my kid's been waiting to use Beast Gohan, so that's been like the wait.
Yeah, the Heroes of Justice DLC. That was the latest one, I guess. I didn't get that one yet, but I'm still waiting on. Like I said, they had like Daima Goku on there. Hold on, did they have Daima Vegeta? I'm looking for.
That's supposed to be next release, if I'm not mistaken.
Next release. All right.
Yeah,
because I really want to play with that. Well, if anybody knows me, I'm a Vegeta fan, like all the way. So Goku, who you know, that's this is me. You know what I'm saying? But like Vegeta, just that transformation, that Super Saiyan 3 transformation, his hair was spiked up like Beast Gohan. And I was like, I wonder if there's a connection there. You know what I'm saying? So I actually want to kind of like just kind of compare the two, you know what I'm saying, see how they look or whatever like that on the screen to see if I can see if there's some kind of connection. They're gonna tell us like, oh yeah, this is Gohan's version of of 3. In a sense.
That'll be interesting because we still don't have half anywhere less than half being Super Saiyan 3. And technically, if you want to get technical with it, even Gotenks is technically full if you put the two halves together.
Right.
Hey, he's a quantum computer. He's two numbers at the same time.
Right. He 100% okay.
See, Zodia, that's the one thing that kind of threw me off because Beast Gohan's was in this DLC. He did like 3 attacks in the movie. It's like, so how you gonna
gotta make up everything?
Yeah. I guess they just gonna pull from Ultimate Gohan and call it a day.
Probably. I mean, even in the manga, I don't think there was a whole lot that he did.
Yeah, even with his fight with Goku, he didn't do much.
Yeah. So maybe, maybe put him. Who was that? Was it? It was Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4, and Tenkaichi 3. Where his attacks was just so fast and you really couldn't see him. You know what I'm saying? Just do that.
That's the way to do it.
Dang, G can't even see his kicks right now. It's just the little lines, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, so I'm looking at I'm just looking at online the picture for Sparking Zero, right? Remember how I said that Super Saiyan True Blue wasn't on there? You think that would be a DLC? Because I'm looking at the artwork and I'm like, that's pure blue Vegeta. So I'm like, why is it not in the game?
Oh, you talking about like the Evolution Blue they were talking about?
Yeah, True Blue or Evolution Blue or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they confuse me at this point.
Yeah,
at one point they said it was just a animation, like a the anime exclusive, or something like that. Same thing with like how Super Saiyan God, Vegeta was like a manga
exclusive. Yeah.
So I was figuring it was something like that, but he still put it in the game. So, but for them not that True Blue, I'm like, hey man, y'all kind of y'all making Vegeta fans mad.
That's definitely. I mean, but no, that's definitely evolved because he's got the little sparkles around him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
I don't know. There's like rollout is kind of weird already because even with like DLC 2 and 3, they're like, oh, here is Glorio and Vegeta Mini. I'm like, okay, because even like with this first DLC, they just kept talking about Gamma 1 and 2. So off rip, my kids was like, that's all you get? I said, no. I think they get like the heroes too. They like, then why did they not say anything? I said, I don't know. Like they've been very weird about these DLCs. So that's where I'm like, will 2 and 3 solely be Daima? But there's so many more characters from Z that they don't have on here.
Right.
So, and they said they're not trickling in the GT. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
Square said, my PFP is so old, I need Beast Gohan in a business suit.
Oh, yeah. You about to say, that one got some time on it.
Yeah. RJ said, also waiting for my copy of Guilty Gear Strive for Switch, and apparently the game runs at a lock 60, which is great. Yeah. It looks really good. It has all 3 seasons of the from season 4 free. That's good. That's what's up. So as for myself, I went back, I bought Need for Speed Heat, and I've been playing that a lot. I finally beat the DLC for Pokemon Violet, which actually was really, I liked it. It was a really competent. It was good. It was good DLC. I think.
Bro, I take my hat off to you because you've really stayed with that game.
Mhm.
Like, like I take my hat off to you.
I might pick it up here and there myself, but yeah, nah, you went in on that because I didn't get the DLC. And I said I was gonna get the DLC before you got it. So I don't know. I'm like, wow.
It was the story, and to be honest with you, the story was compelling enough, and the fact that you fight the Elite Four, you become the champion like normal, but then you go off into go with another school off to a different island, and then all that island has like different Pokemon, and then you get a Pokemon and you have to beat that one in order to get to the second part, but you also have to beat the main part in order to get to the second part. And when you get to the second part, they have their own Elite Four, and you like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna have to boss on y'all too. Y'all don't know who I am. I think it's dope, and they have their own, like, it's not an island, but like it's I don't know, 30,000 feet under the sea, and it's a huge biodome where they house different Pokemon in the world. So like and they got like different landforms and stuff like that. I think it was sweet. Like the idea behind it was pretty cool.
So can you grind in this game, or will levels match up no matter where you go?
No, levels match up. Like,
okay.
Like to an extent. I think I topped out because by the time my Pokemon got to the second DLC, I think most of my Pokemon were probably in the 90s, like my main team. And before I even got to all of the Elite Four, like to start that whole thing with them, almost all of them were level 100. And their Pokemon sat around the high 80s, maybe like 86, 87. So they're no slouches either.
Right.
But you got to come in there correct.
You think they'll ever get to a point where we're like adding on to that, I guess, that leveling system to where it's no longer 100 cap, and there's like other ways of like adding a star system or something like that to continue to enhance these Pokemon? Or is that too much?
No, I think that's the peak. I only say that too because I already think it's too much to make each of your Pokemon, like, even though they've kind of streamlined it, it's already too much to make your Pokemon the strongest of what they can be, you know,
right?
EVs and, you know, giving them, you know, the different medicines and vitamins and stuff like that. Like,
drugging them up, giving them
steroid in your Pokemon. It's already a lot to me. And most of my Pokemon, I will even say, don't even have EVs on them like that. Like, and even now, since they're already at 100, it's like pointless for me to try and do that kind of stuff because you can't level them up to get those extra stat bumps. So yeah, it's just one of those situations where I think it's probably going to be good where it's at. But I think so far the way they've handled the DLC and all this other stuff, like I see it more promising for ZA down the road. If they get this as a crossover game for Switch and Switch 2, I feel like it's going to have a lot of promise to it.
We'll see. Look, they got to show me now. I don't believe nothing Game Freak.
I feel you. The last game they came out with was Scarlet and Violet, right? So they've got 3 or 4 years to have gotten this stuff right. And ask your big brother. Go ask Monolith. You know what I'm saying? Go ask them. Take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, Game Freak said Monolith don't make bread like we do. So we asked for.
Right. Should you be talking to us or should we be talking to you? What's really good? No.
Real quick. Did Assassin's Creed Shadows come out?
No, it got pushed back.
No, it got pushed back.
Okay.
It's just people had the ability to play it. They had like a beta for certain people to play it. So that's why you've seen a lot of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I think also too we got a Pokemon Direct. Is it a Pokemon? I believe it's a Pokemon
The
Direct.
Pokemon what's it called? Like Pokemon something.
Yeah.
They have like a special name for it, but yeah, it's supposed to be coming up in February along with this rumored February Direct. So
Well, the
okay.
Legends coming out. Can't wait till that come out.
I hope they do that right. I hope, because the last Legends, like Arceus, I love that game. Like to me, that was really taking a chance on something different, and also really getting into the aspect of, let me get in here, let me just throw something at you. Like Ash didn't have to fight everybody. If he was feeling froggy, you not paying attention, I'm gonna sneak you with this Pokeball, hit you upside your head, and you could try to bust out.
Right.
You know, and that's what I love, because they added the element of, okay, catch this many Pokemon in this area, because you literally are writing the book on Pokédex at this point. So I think that was an amazing turn on it, but I'm curious as to how they do. I don't think you can do that again with this one, because this one seems a little bit more evolved in time.
Yeah, I think too. I mean, if you do that, I think that's okay. But you know, I think that too, because we're getting Mega Evolutions now this time around. You know, well, again. But do you have Mega Evolved Pokemon out in the wild? You know what I'm saying? Because it's the future now. We're not talking about the present day. So that you know, 3-turn thing should not be as much of a thing this time around. You know?
Yeah.
But I like, real talk, I like that fight mechanic better than the regular Pokemon fight mechanic.
Yeah.
The speed and power thing, that was dope. That should have stayed around, to be honest.
Yep, it should have. Yep. Now add different elements to it, but definitely stay around. Now also too, with that, I'm curious on, do we finally start getting like actual contact with Pokemon? Because one idea I've always come up with, and I was like, if I ever run into somebody at Game Freak or somebody at Pokemon Company, I want to pass the idea of a new fight system. And I got this idea, so I'm not going to take credit for it in its entirety. I just panned it out. But when I first saw it, it was Final Fantasy. It was going to be called 11 at the time, if I'm not mistaken, before we got 13. And whenever, it might not have been 11, it was called something different. I forget what it was called before we actually got 13. But ultimately, what it would be is, it would be called a continued turn-based fight system. So essentially what it is like, let's say we start off the fight, they're the same way, they're standing at each other, and I choose, let's say, quick attack, and you know, they choose something else. Even though I'm doing the quick attack and you see the physical hit, and they do theirs, they're constantly going back and forth at each other until we select our next action. So it's like,
like constant movement for
constant movement and hitting each other. So it's like, all right, cool. My Pikachu hit you with a quick attack. You hit me with a fire emblem. Oh, not fire emblem, but what you call it? I'm thinking of fire emblem, but hit him with an ember. Hit me with an ember. All right, cool. You see the bruises on my Pokemon. You see the bruises on yours, and there's constant movement, and you might even see them actually hit each other. It's not taking from the hit points. Yep, right there, RJ. Thank you. So really, it comes down to, like, the only attacks that count are the ones that we select, but ultimately you still see them going at it and moving around and jumping around until the next action is selected. So that way it always seems like it's an action scene. It's an action fighting scene, and I don't have to sit there and watch you just shift forward and, like, okay, that was an attack. Like, you didn't even hit me, and now we're just standing there staring at each other, waiting for the next attack, and so it just looks so stagnant.
I feel that. I was hoping that at some point we would get a yes. You broke it.
It fell on the ground.
So you broke it. This is the second one. This is the second one that's gotten broken. I don't think we have anymore.
The ground broke it.
I didn't break nothing. Me breaking it means I snapped it in half. It hit the ground.
There's a magical thing called
You
gravity.
can try it, but
So
I need
when
to
gravity
stop
comes
practicing.
along.
Yeah, that boy is broken. That's a USB-C. That's
Oh yeah,
again.
100%. I got something like that that's got that full brim tilt.
Man. That's this one right here. That's not that one. That's this one. They brought it to me. This is the one she was crying about last time. Like, it's broken. We can't play anymore. Look at that boy. That boy saying no.
Yeah, that's done.
But no, what I was gonna say is as far as like the live, like a live sequence, you know what I'm saying? So you play whatever Pokemon that you have, and I think it brings in so many elements, right? So like say you pop off with Pikachu, you know what I'm saying, and I got a Bulbasaur, you know, and we can actually physically run around the actual stadium, you know what I'm saying? So
it's a Pokemon tournament.
Yeah, but without the 2D aspect, like the actual like enclosed fight piece.
Okay.
And so like when you have moves like, you know, let's say I got Solar Beam or something like that, but it shows like when I'm doing Solar Beam, like Bulbasaur like really is slowing down, you know what I'm saying? Like he's gathering up that energy, and you can see the charge before firing. Type of thing, and you actually have to aim, or you know, if there's an auto target or something like that. But you can use Pikachu kind of like how Ash does. Instead of quick attacking at a person, you can use quick attack to you know what I mean, dodge and stuff like that.
Right.
And as outlandish as it is, it doesn't, if you keep it in a Pokemon Evolved Stadium form, you don't ever have to take it outside the world, you know. And I think, like, even when, like, because one thing that always throws me off in Pokemon, as much as I love it, is water Pokemon. Pokemon always throw me off. Like, do they all have, can they all just breathe outside the water? Like, is that how they all do? You know what I'm saying?
Where are you getting this water from?
Yeah, you know, and it's crazy because you got Magikarp dying for his life. Like, he looked like he needed air, you know? He just
I'm about to say Golding don't even go through that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that man is dying. Get him some water. But even if you have Pokemon like those, I think it would be dope if there was, you know, always an area where you could where the water Pokemon could be in the water, and if they were outside the water, they move just a little bit slower out the water. And I know people are thinking like, oh, that's a huge disadvantage because they can't really, you know, move outside the water. But even if you Splatoon that mug, you know what I'm saying? On the ground, you know what I'm saying? Water gun on the ground, you know, real quick. Or if they get a buff even being in water, because now you know, I think that evens out the playing field, even for flying Pokemon.
Environmental buffs,
yeah. I think that would be huge for Pokemon, but they just gotta actually do that, even though it's turn based.
How far off the beaten path do you think they can actually go?
I don't think it's that. To be honest with you, I really don't think it's that far. If you call it Stadium, you're good.
As long as it's a spinoff and it's not considered the main line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you want to add a story to it, you can add a story. You know, if you want to add, you know, the starting Pokemon and blah 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 that you start off with, what have you. You know, I'm just talking about for the first game. If they want to evolve it eventually to you going outside the world and doing all these things, that would be dope. But with the power and the ability that we have, keep it in the stadium. And you just, you know, you're a rental master. Put it that way. You're a rental master, and you pick up these different Pokemon. I think just hunkering it down to the stadium and uses, because like some of those things that like Ash does, I'm like, bro, I would do that. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of things you can't do. Like I've died off of trying to copy what he was doing. Like when my very first Pokemon game ever was Pokemon Yellow, and I got it literally the day after they aired the episode to where Pikachu beat Rhydon. And I'm like, oh, he shouldn't be able to do that based off of what the game is saying. Is like, oh, he jumped in his mouth.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, bet. So all I got to do is just, you know, look for that. No, that's not in the game at all. Like that's way too advanced.
I had the same thing when he left out of when he was fighting Brock. and he was, using the Thunderbolt to shock Onyx, and then it was like the water was sprinkling. So I'm like, okay, so he's not immune to the electricity. It just don't hurt him nearly as much unless he got some water tapping.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so I can still, Thunderbolt, not effective. Come again? Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, you lied to me.
I'm telling you, like if they can Tears of the Kingdom this thing, when we talk about elements, let's, like you said with your same example, if I go and I say we know electricity is going to be super effective to water, right? If I put in, let's say my Squirtle's like I use Hydro Pump or use whatever to spray down this Onyx, and it says this Onyx is wet, I should be able to come in with that Pikachu and just light you up.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it's not going to be like super effective, but it's going to do a lot more than what it would regularly do.
Yeah. I think that's a huge step forward.
Humongous.
If they added that, so now you could get her, huh? Now, if there's other ones that they didn't show off, you know what I'm saying? Like, you take a dragon Pokemon and you use Dragon Breath, and that man's Dragon Breath is a mile wide.
Yeah.
You got a fairy type, and he just, you know what I'm saying? And then the dust clear, and your fairy type is like, for real? Like, I can see that, you know what I'm saying? But until then, Dragon Breath work on a fairy type.
Right. They have so much range, and as I was asking you that question, I'm like, yeah, the spinoffs, they can do whatever, because you look at Arceus. Like, Arceus never happened in the anime.
Yeah.
Same thing when you talk about like the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. Those never happen. So as long as it doesn't have that main title on there, I think they're fine.
Yeah. He said old school Pokemon. They had them old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Hey, super facts. My man's drew a Karibo with a multiplication and made thousands of Karibos.
Now you realize how many times I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, how did this dude pull this off? Like, he made Karibo the strongest thing walking in Yu-Gi-Oh! He could have beat Exodia with Karibo the way he be using it.
He was so convincing too. Like, nobody ever questioned any move that he did. Not multiplication. Wait a minute. There's only 5 slots here. What do we talk about?
Wow.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna strike the move. Wait a minute. That's your card. You can't do that.
Man.
Yeah. So wow. Square said Pokemon Stadium also confused me with Charizard, where it's standing but not flying. Yet ground moves still don't affect it. He does that look, which is funny because every time I think of a Pokemon that has feet like that but can fly, and they use a ground move, every time the ground move comes, he just like,
yep. That's it. I'm like, really? Like, all right.
Ain't nobody else jump.
but that's another missed opportunity. If we were, me and Jay earlier when we were doing his Let's Play thing, like, we were talking about how some games really need to be like service games or just be expansions. And when you think about Fortnite, there is no Fortnite 2, 3, 4. Like, they just have seasons and they keep pushing. I feel like Pokemon and Game Freak are missing out on the opportunity to just have a standard stadium game and that be their multiplayer game. Like, okay, they already have Pokemon Bank. Okay, cool. I got my team, I got my roster, I built them up. We gonna come to Pokemon Stadium to like really have this competition, and they hold actual tournaments of like, okay, y'all come in here, we gonna play. Because honestly, at that point, it saves me for having to get, let's say, the next Pokemon if I don't want it. Or if I'm still like, I put in all these EVs, like you said, got my Pokemon roided out, I should be able to bring them in here, similar to what we used to do back in the day by plugging like your Pokemon game into the 64 game pack and then put them on Pokemon Stadium. Like, I should be able to do that. And then that sole purpose is for stadium and tournaments. Like, it's not for anything else. We get in here, we show out in this tournament, and you as Game Freak, y'all have to host these tournaments the same way that they do Splatfest. Like, that's what we need.
That'll be dope.
What are you thinking?
Too much potential in that franchise for them to still be doing what they're doing. Like, way too much potential.
I think it's one of those like let's beat it into the ground until it's
Sir,
time to change.
that
you
is
know?
that is in China. Like that's going through the ground into China. Like they've beat that into the ground. Like they've dispelled the flat Earth rumors at this point. Like this is
Listen.
ridiculous.
Listen, beat it into the ground as in Pokemon numbers is starting to dwindle.
If you wait that long, like we did.
They're like, but wait, before you go, we got a whole new style of playing. You're like, oh, okay.
I think that's why a lot of people liked Power World, because it was something
Different.
different with the Pokemon like idea. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Not necessarily it was like original. Of course, it was Fortnite with Pokemon
Right.
and all this other stuff, but it's still just that concept. Like, we know that's bootleg Pokemon. We know exactly like these are
Real.
all like rip off Pokemon right here. But just to have that element of I can make this Pokemon work for me. And,
Slave Pokemon. That's exactly what they were.
like grow them rings over there. Pick that. You know?
You know, in Pokemon, you take it to a daycare. In Power World, you putting them to work. Like,
Hey, get to work. Man, done.
nothing
Put that
sweet over
tree on
here.
your back and put it over there.
Who you thought you was?
Ain't nothing sweet over here. You got work to do.
Right.
When that soft stuff go over to Pokemon.
Less talky, more worky.
But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
honestly,
man.
like even with Power World, like yeah, it differed from Pokemon.
Mhm.
It still didn't change up the combat. Like, it's
Oh, yeah, the
as
combat
if
was the
no
same.
one wants to change it.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. I don't know if people just haven't really thought about it or if it's really that hard to execute without the proper engine.
Yeah.
But at some point, I mean, I'll even be okay with,
Give it a the
you know-
original 150 then. If that's that big of a deal.
but that's my thing. Like, if you're going to do something brand new, I say always start off with the original Gen 1 because that's going to always entice people because everybody remembers the original Gen 1.
Mhm.
So whenever you do this, even if you just say, you know what, you catch Pokemon like Arceus, and when we get into these battles, we gonna turn this into like a Pokken tournament thing. I'm okay with that. Like, it's not my full-fledged idea that I thought about with like the ATB system that RJ mentioned, but at some point somebody got to switch up these fight systems.
Yeah.
They're too close, and even when we look at Expedition 33, and while it has like the time button inputs and things of that nature, it's still me standing across from somebody doing an attack, and then if ain't nobody attacking, we just staring at each other. Like, that's just like,
Standing there.
like, so what we doing?
You know what I always think of?
Choose
when
my
they-
attack right now. Like, that's it's-
I always think of whenever when they're doing that, they're monologuing in their heads. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
oh,
I mean, it
don't know
would
if
make
this attack
sense.
will work.
It would make sense.
But in it, that's another thing because like if you are gonna sit there, you should they should project that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, say you got to get up, you know what I'm saying, and cook or something real quick to even be like to have your character being like in that echoey voice like.
Well, I
wonder if
mean,
blah 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 blah.
Hey,
blah, blah.
technically, like if you think about it, you as the player, as controlling the controller, you're technically the conscious, the voice, that little anime echoing voice, the monologue. So technically, you speaking out loud. Okay, what I'm gonna do next?
I need to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to know what's going on in my head. It ain't got nothing to do with the game.
Right.
But-
But they can even implement that in the game, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude is standing there against a huge boss, and in the back of his head, like, as you going to go cook dinner or something, he's like, I wonder what we're gonna have for dinner later. You know what I mean? Like,
or add
To
some
be
comedy
honest,
to it.
Honestly,
Because
that-
honestly,
that-
South Park did it great. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how much audio they recorded, but it literally will continue to have those conversations, and they will not repeat dialogue.
Mhm.
So I'm curious if they could do that.
Holy shit. Mm.
RJ said, and Pokemon Sun and Moon, Scarlet and Violet, the Pokemon actually look back stylish if you
Take too long,
Oh.
that's a change up.
Oh,
Subtle,
Yeah.
but a
Mhm.
change.
Mhm. Well, you gonna make an attack? You know,
Yeah,
tell me
I
what
mean,
to do.
because you even see some games now to where, like, if you sit there too long, like Sonic back in, the Genesis days, he would tap his foot looking at you.
Looking at you like,
Like,
come on.
like, bruh, what are we doing? But even just like I said, small little incremental changes like that can expand into something big. It makes it a little bit more alive when you talking about it. So even if there is no dialogue when you just sitting there standing, if they go to sleep, that'd be funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like you said, even though they're not looking back, if you have, because since they're doing this whole relationship thing with your Pokemon, if you got a close relationship with this Pokemon, he turn around and he like roars at you or does his little Pokemon thing, like something. Like, give me life for this game.
Yeah, even the bosses, if they stood there and you took too long, one of them just like, ha,
What are you waiting on?
got you shaking in your boots. Shaking in your boots. So yeah, so that was our thoughts. That all stemmed from Ice Cream,
which is crazy.
Those are the games that we've been playing lately, as well as our thoughts about future Pokemon, which I was not expecting to happen, but it happened anyway.
We need to talk about it though, because we have the system coming out. We need that conversation.
This is actually this is going to be a packed episode today. Because like I said, Vito, you just came in, but we never got your thoughts on the Switch 2 trailer. We also have the stuff from Microsoft with their Direct. So we do have a couple videos to check out. And as well, our next topic that we're actually about to get into right here is quite an interesting one. So reports have come in that Sony has canceled the Horizon project, and just a week prior they canceled the God of War project, or so that's what we believe. The live services to both of these. What's going on? Sony always wins though, but outside of that, what's going on?
I can tell you what's going on. I can tell you exactly what's going on. This is trying to get into the element of always being in your pocket, but they don't want to go the route, and they don't have the means to go the route of what Microsoft does. Like, there is no subscription service that you can get from Sony right now that will constantly take a chunk of monthly money out your pocket. Yeah, you can look at PSN, but that's more on the lines of like there's 3 tiers. Most people use it to play online, and you're not really getting much else out of it. But when you look at stuff like Game Pass, when you look at a Netflix, or you're looking at any of these other services, companies are trying to find ways for you not to own something, but yet still pay for it.
Yeah.
And this was Sony's way of trying to like really, really overdo it. Yeah, like, because I mean, you think about, for example, Epic has Fortnite. They have not tried to hit you with nothing else that I could think of that does exactly what Fortnite does.
Yeah.
But Sony was trying to realistically have 12 Fortnites. And I'm speaking like metaphorically, like, because of course they're not Fortnite games, they're not battle royale games, but they were trying to have 12 games that hit your pocket consistently. If we don't have a game that's as successful as Fortnite doing it, what makes you think you were going to spawn 12 of them?
Right. That's wild for me.
Now, on top of that, what were the chances of you ever getting like a mainline single player game after these? If these were successful, how many entries were you getting after this?
You weren't.
So that was crazy to me, because while their fan base, I'll give it to Sony's fan base, like, they told them straight up, we didn't want this. But for those that were like, okay, they didn't have an issue with it, whatever case may be, it was like, you losing games at this point, because that means this Horizon and this God of War game is going to be the only one you see from here on out if it's successful.
Yep. I think that's wild too, because like you said, they set them. I don't know why you would set yourself up for such a large number. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were gonna step your foot in there, put a toe in there. A toe with y'all, but like, put a toe in there. You know?
Something.
To see how that was gonna look and how that was gonna run, because because what I can imagine is if they were full fledged on this, they would look exactly like Ubisoft, where all of their main screens all look the same.
Yep.
All of their shops all look the same, and everything is all convoluted and Coinbase. Like,
Yep.
and they all don't have the same currency. Like all the currencies is different.
Yep.
So I think this was albeit it was a move that should have never happened in the first place, but I think it was a good move for them to cancel. Hopefully this was early. Hopefully they weren't deep into this and decided like, oh, maybe this is not the way.
I hope so.
But some of these games didn't deserve, like, why does God of War need a live service? Like, that don't.
I was trying to think about that because, like, I saw like Rain. He was saying that he was interested in it, but I was like, what possibly could you have been doing in this game?
Right.
Like, I have no idea what you.
Like, are you not playing Kratos? Are you like just a regular person, and then the soul of Kratos enters you? Pause. And then you just start fighting like you Darth Vader. Like,
are you playing as multiple gods? Like, I'm curious on that.
That would have been horrible.
I don't know how they were going to spend that, but ultimately, I'm glad it didn't work. Whatever it was, I'm glad it didn't work.
Yeah,
I just don't know. And then, like RJ was saying, that's too many games. Like, you really can't. Like, you're gonna divide up your fan base at that point of, all right, we only got a handful of people over here playing Horizon, a handful of people over here playing God of War, because those games are time investments. And when I invest that type of time, I'm not jumping over to something else. This is where I'm at.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, the only one, only two, maybe three. One of them I don't like the idea of anyway, but I think Horizon would have been okay. I made the joke on Twitter that they were scared of the knockoff that was coming. So they canceled that baby real quick. But I could see it working as long as you weren't playing as, the main person. If you were, a villager and doing all the hunting and stuff like that. But then those games look really close.
Very close.
Yeah. One that I would say would have been dope, but they would have to take it serious. I'm not talking Marvel rival serious. I'm not even talking Halo serious. Like, for real, like, you got to take this seriously, because if you mess this up, it can really mess things up.
Right.
As far as legacies go, they could have done a. Thank you. That's not mine. Thank you though. They could have did a MMO of Infamous. Allowed different characters have different powers. Not the same 4 powers. You know what I'm saying?
You think they get messy?
Not an arena style game.
Okay.
But having a PvE and a PvP type of deal. So being able to pick your own powers and pick up powers and stuff like that. Because I still feel like it was a huge miss that they didn't have that with Spider-Man in any kind of way. Before Marvel actually started caring about Spider-Man again. But I think you could have given somebody the electric powers, somebody, light powers, rat powers, all this other stuff, and you go against the environment, or you stay against whoever that, I forgot the name of the.
Hey, Censor, was you meaning X-Men, not Spider-Man?
Nah, they own Spider-Man too.
No, I'm talking about like making that idea. What you're talking about, like.
Yeah, cause I was about to say, I don't know if you have enough characters for that.
For a Spider-Man game,
unless you're talking about having like a gang of lobbies, to where it's
no.
Okay.
No, I was talking as far as like the Spider-Man and Wolverine thing. I was just talking about having Spider-Man before we actually got him back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because Infamous came out, 2012 or something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around.
And at that time, Sony still had the rights to Spider-Man themselves.
Mhm.
So if they were going to make a Spider-Man game, they could have slid one of the infamous characters in there at some point, whether he was a villain or a good guy. And that way they could have been locked in as, mutants, if you would, in the same world. But yeah, now that opportunity is not going to happen. But yeah, you could do lobbies or do lobbies as different cities.
Oh, so I mean that's getting big though at that point. Because I mean, if you're doing anything other than New York, and because the way I'm thinking about it is, you only have a handful of Spider-Man you can actually use. Then you have to give an objective, and that's getting very Avenger-y, Marvel Avenger, the way that Square Enix did it, which I personally don't know how it would function. I just foresee it being a hot mess. And that was the same thing I was thinking about with Infamous as well, because while everybody has powers, it's like, okay, you're probably going to be doing good versus evil with the fights, and you got like the whole city. You can go through like the little smoke pipes and everything else, and I mean, if done correctly, I can see it being like a battle arena thing throughout the city, or even having like, okay, you have some players with powers, and then you have other people playing as like the police that they had in the game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what game actually successfully did that, but
The only other one that I would give as a suggestion, and I don't like it. I'm gonna say that here first thing. I don't like it. It's Ghost of Tsushima or the Ghost series. Give us one big island, and you got different samurai out there. PvE and PvP. If you even glance at me crazy.
But you already know how that's gonna be GTA Online all over again. That's all it's gonna be, because people gonna cut you down for no reason. Like,
Look at me funny. Look at me funny.
You just see somebody like a horde of people coming in horses, just that game will be straight menace.
But I think in that case, as a samurai, you have to accept a duel in order to enter a duel. You know what I'm saying? So like y'all both start off with the quick tap or whatever, and I would say nobody dies off the one strike deal. But
I mean, but if we're talking about it's going to be a Ghost of Tsushima type situation, you're gonna have people trying to be a ninja and don't care about your little rules. Your head is off.
Yeah, that'd be rough. I mean, any franchise they have would be horrible MMOs. And I think that's where they try to go with Concord. And I mean, I can't even say the writing was on the wall. Their fans told them, we're not picking this up. Don't release it. And they did it anyway, and then just end up getting rid of it in 2 weeks. Like, what was the point?
It's straight. Y'all gonna get it anyway. You know who we are. Do you know what my name is?
I will respect it more if you kept the game around. But you buckled in 2 weeks.
They didn't stick behind that at all.
No, not even close. Like that was the friend that was like, "Oh, I got your back," and then whenever problems showed up, they ran. Like that's like, no.
I call for
and then you was like, "Hey, wait for me."
Nah, ain't no wait. I'm gone.
I'm gonna go get your mama.
You wait right here. Like, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they were going with this, but then, like you said, I really hope, really hope that this was, well, even if it was early, I really hope that they were working on multiple projects. I tell you that much, because there's no way that you're going to tell me that you had enough studios to work on 12 live service games, as well as other companies to have first party games come through to fill in while these were getting done. I don't think Sony has that many freaking studios.
No, and not at that money that they were pulling out for Concord. I don't think so.
That's crazy, man. That's
you know what?
Bad.
I think that was probably the helper too. Like, I don't know if they showed off some of that stuff, like both of these titles, to somebody, and they was like, "Be honest, like,
we got a hit or no?" Like, no.
I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. Pull out.
Yeah. And no pause on that one. Pull
Yeah,
out.
no
Yeah.
pause.
Like that, because that's wild. But honestly, this really then leads. I mean, honestly, I've seen the changes and I've heard the communication. Like there are like diehard Sony fans that's like, yo, what's up? Like you really have not given us anything. And I know a lot of people will go and give you this long laundry list of first party games that came out. And I was like, but if you remove those remasters and those remakes, it looks real naked out here. And then if we want to divide it even more, how good was the game? And then it really looks scary out here. Really scary.
Yeah. Like Dark Void said, super facts, bro. If they really wanted to do a real live service, they would have brought back SOCOM.
Yeah. But then that's where I call out that Call of Duty crowd. They're not showing up for SOCOM.
No.
The SOCOM ain't got a lick of arcade in it. Like SOCOM is dead serious. You go in there and try to pull that Call of Duty crap in SOCOM, you're done. You dead? You dead. You dead.
Right. You did.
You dead.
You did. Andre said, if you did it and Enter the Spider-Verse type of situation, you could have a multitude of different Spider-Man like characters.
I just think it's gonna be messy. Like I agree, that's where you get your characters from, but that I just don't know how you pull that off.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just too far out of the realm of my little feeble brain, but I don't know how you pull that off.
I say all that to say, Sony, I hope y'all get it together. I hope y'all get it right.
But that's what scares me. First party, you did not show up like that. I don't care what nobody says. Spider-Man 2 was not better than Spider-Man. To me, it wasn't even better than Miles Morales.
Dang.
Horizon, I just didn't catch it. Not saying it's a bad game, I just didn't catch it. And I tried all three of them. I tried the VR one and both of the standard games. I tried those. I'm more of a fan of the original trilogy of God of War. I did not fool with Ragnarok in 2008 was it? Or 2028 or 8, whatever it's called. But yeah, the original remake of God of War. I didn't fool with that one either. I will say Ratchet and Clank severely let me down. Good game. I completed it. I was done with it. But the way they advertised that game, they made it seem like I'm jumping from portal to portal.
It's the future.
Jumping into these different areas. And I'm like, that's not what happened. You jumped from, if I'm on the ground and there's an upstairs area, that's what happened. Like that, I didn't traverse the different worlds.
You did what's that game? Portal. You did the Portal stuff.
That's all they did. I didn't go nowhere different. I said that the only time I ever saw something like that was in Spider-Man, and that was for like a chase scene. But that didn't happen in Ratchet and Clank. So you sold me on something that wasn't, like, you gave me a half truth. So that was what Astrobot, freaking amazing, both of them. But the one that you got with the PS5 and then the one that they just released, those were both amazing games. What am I missing? Last of Us, I've never been a fan of it. Like, I always felt like this is just Walking Dead. It just never really sparked it. But to me, I don't think they really turned out anything amazing. And then, God forbid, they literally just left PSVR 2 out to die. They showed no love for that. And I know a lot of content creators, like VR content creators, that tried their best. Like, what are you guys talking about? You know, they released this, and this. No, they didn't. Third parties released that. Sony didn't release nothing but one game.
Yeah.
They released Horizon, and that was it. And then when they eventually came with Firewall and Sierra something, it's shooter games, they were not good. And so that's why I was like, come on, dude. At some point, y'all literally have it to where they were unstoppable. They were, like Risky said, they were unstoppable, but you dropped the ball. You PS3 this thing.
And reversed.
Yeah. Like
in reverse.
Like you started off with the power and then dropped the ball. The PS3 people had to warm up to that because that price was ridiculous. But it's like I don't know what happened. And by no means do I want to see any of these companies go anywhere. Like I love competition. I love for you to really press the next one. But when Sony pulling crap like that,
Right.
no.
And now they already talking about PlayStation 6.
That's the wild part. I'm like, how did we get here? Like, why are you even talking? You're not even doing anything with this one. Shut up. Like, don't talk to me about tomorrow. Like, do your work today. Like, it's crazy.
Now that y'all have the PS5 Pro in your hands, just wait till the PlayStation 6.
No.
It's coming with all the power.
I will fight Sony if they ever make a mention of PS6. I'll fight Sony. This is crazy. This shows me you don't care. Like, you really don't. You really don't care.
And meanwhile, they'll be talking about how the PlayStation 5 surpassed some fictitious numbers. That, like, wait a minute. If I look under this scope, that's not actually true.
At all. Either come up with these wild stats like the NBA be doing, like, oh, he's the first person to take 12 steps and only shoot 2 times to get 30. Like, what? Like, who's tracking this? Like, I don't care. Like,
that's so funny because, side note, not to get off too far off tangent, but I just seen a thing on my YouTube, like Damian Lillard scores 6 points in 1 second.
1 second, yeah.
I'm like, how's that even possible? But then I watch it, and I'm like, that was
it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And then when you see it happen, it's like, oh, okay. Like,
Oh, I can do that.
He got fouled behind the 3-point line. He shot 3 shots, made all 3 of them, shot another 3.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like they was losing. They were already winning. So it wasn't like it was.
That's
like,
what be killing me. Like, when they throw the highlights up there, I'm like, this was in the second quarter. Like, what do you like, you treat this like a buzzer beater?
He did it in 1 second. Space Jam is his arm stretched.
Right.
They I was like, y'all trying to like really create this T-Mac moment again. Nothing's happening like that. T-Mac went off in that short amount of time. Like, stop trying to replicate that.
That's wild. That's wild. All right, so let me turn this off real quick because we got a couple things we got to watch. So we had the Developers Direct on Thursday.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. Vito, did you check it out?
Nope.
Perfect. That's what I hope these things. I don't hope them in a bad way, but I hope these things so they can be more of a surprise to you. So we can get your reaction on them. I'm not gonna play all 4 of them unless I have time to do so. Unfortunately, Expedition 33 is going to be the one out. But listen, hold on. The only reason why Expedition 33 is out is because that was the one that I know unanimously. That was the one that we were probably going to pick up anyway. So there wasn't really needing any convincing on picking those up. With that being said, after we go over these first 3, if we still have time, I will play that one as well.
Okay.
But the first one, Vito, is we got more information on South of Midnight here. Let me zoom up that screen for y'all for you to check out. Let me know if it's too loud, chat, as well. You guys, let me know if it's too loud or too quiet.
I keep forgetting you got this super wide screen, so that's why it look like that.
I know, it always makes me hard.
Mama,
pause.
this ain't my first hurt.
Yeah, super pause. Super pause.
Oh, should we got 5 minutes? Let's go.
Hey, turn it up some though.
Okay, I got you.
Speak on it. I said we wouldn't be rushed if you didn't waste all that time at the shelter.
Now, you want to bring this up right now?
I'm just saying.
Hazel, please.
We might need some help. I might need some help. While you're out helping everybody else.
Hazel.
Mama would have got that though.
I was like, I'm gonna switch in.
Yeah, so quick. So quick.
Uh-oh. This ain't, nah, that ain't accurate. She would have had a bottle on the back of her head. That dope.
Is that Hazel?
You know what?
The trailer got
I
swept
gotta
downstream
conclude
with Mama in it, and it ain't just about Mama. I'm seeing these things.
Hey, Hazel.
Who's there?
Up here. You find your mama yet?
A talking fish.
Nope.
Ain't no way.
It ain't every day I hear about a new weaver such as yourself.
What are you talking about?
You can't see strides, can't you? And a trained weaver ought to be able to rescue her mama easy. I can teach you the rest.
This better work.
Lost in a crowd, you feel your thoughts out loud. Lost in.
Can I help you, son?
You know anything about that creepy old house up on the hill?
Yes, that was once the home of Hug and Molly.
Wait, is Hug and Molly real?
All the stories are real, darling.
All your money until you come.
Weavers fix things deep down. They mend parts of your soul so ripped you'd forgotten they were ever one piece.
I came all this way to hear your story. The real story, Itchy.
It was complicated. This is grown folks' business. This ain't for you.
I ain't no damn child.
Then you're welcome to try bottling up the pain. But the roots of this trouble go deep.
Oh, dear. You've been keeping secrets.
It's your life now. You're gone. There's no tomorrow.
It's here, it's on.
So we got an official date, April 8th, 2025.
I'm just curious to see if they got anybody that speak Creole in there. Hey, man, like that deep Creole too. Boy. But yeah, that game looks amazing. It sounds amazing. But it was also very interesting that there's a lot of people that have no idea what stop motion is.
Yeah,
That surprised me.
which is wild because I feel like we kind of grew up on that with a lot of
Yeah.
bigger franchises having stop motion like that.
Like when I saw people were like, oh, hopefully they iron out those graphical dips or those frame rate dips. I'm like, did I miss something?
That's what I said too. Like, wait a minute. Is my eyes getting old or something? Like, because are we talking about frame rate drops? Because I don't see no frame rate unless you're talking about the motion that they're making. But that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and so that's where it to me, and maybe this is because I'm a creator. There were so many people like excited that you can turn that off apparently, and I was like, that's. Like so I'm like, no, I'm leaving that on. Like it's not in gameplay, it's just within the cutscenes. The stop motion is there for a reason, and yeah, I guess more people just not a fan of it, so they said they wanted to turn it off. But yeah, I can see if it was in gameplay it'd be kind of hard because it kind of reminds me of when you can get the Spider-Verse outfit to where it was like, Miles Morales. Yeah. And it had that movement to where it was couple frames lower than the actual game to replicate the movie. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm loving everything I'm seeing with this game. Yeah, everything I'm seeing with it, man.
Real quickly, what up, FL? Appreciate you coming through, and Matt Jazz. Thank you. That's a new name. I haven't seen that name before. Welcome to the Stormcast, man. Appreciate you coming through. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and all y'all, make sure y'all hit the like button as well. But yeah, Vito, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. I remember it looked a lot different the first time they showed this off. And so for them to change it and the way they changed it, no, they done a good job with that. The stop motion feature, like Jack was saying, in the Spider-Man game, they had that little thing where you can have the Miles Morales from, Spider-Verse, and like the way that mechanic worked, I was like, oh man, I can see them actually like, why is this not in like a whole game like this? And so to see that, somebody has made a game like that. Or something is coming out like that.
Yeah.
I really feel is a really, really, really good little, experience, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially by like you guys were mentioning, like we grew up with some stop motion and all that stuff. Like to see different art styles being implicated into our video games now too, we're able to reach our younger generation. Like, hey, look, this is what we grew up with too as well.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Now we making it, blah, 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 and that expands other ideas for like up and coming like designers and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe Baby Sandstorm want to be a game designer, and maybe something like this game will inspire her based on two things, black lead and the fact that the art is beautiful in there. So
Absolutely.
I definitely look forward to picking this up. You know what I mean? It's definitely now one thing that I did have that I was thinking, I was like, this could be a theory. As that opening scene and her mom was arguing and all that, and she got the, saying what she said. What if the whole thing is nothing but a dream because her mama done hit her in the back of the head? Oh, crazy.
Worked so hard. You find out at the end
knocked her into a fantasy land.
She got up off the ground and she's like, "Mama?" She's like, "And you better not talk to me that way again."
Yo, perfect ending to the game. I'm standing up.
Truly accurate. Truly accurate. Truly accurate.
The message: child rearing. Yes, child rearing.
Hey, I'm definitely there for it. We did watch. We did watch the end part of them explaining it. I will say I did not see anybody of color, so I don't think that's gonna happen. But
which was wild. But
I mean, it was there. They went all deep into the lore and stuff. But that's the lore that got cut out.
Right. But I will say, like, I think this is our first time seeing combat, and while it differs quite a bit from the first one, I think this was the route that Beyond Good and Evil should have went. Like, because it gave me Beyond Good and Evil vibes when I first saw it. So I'm curious to see how this plays out, because like she got those weavers. And to where they were mentioning, like, you can like either set it up to where you can pull people in or have like a push effect, or so pretty much you can craft it however you see fit. So I'm curious to see how this combat system feels, because we get a lot of similar games, but when you get these different games with different systems and different elements to them, such as like a Psychonauts, it really changes up how you play, and it really gets you immersed into the game, because Psychonauts is still top notch. Like that's still a great game, both the first and the second one. So to see this and like seeing how she maneuvers with the weavers and how she's not doing anything like over the top, but it's like she's really trying to find a way to combat within this crazy world she's in now, or as Vito put it, in this dream world she's in right now, because she's unconscious, but
she got out.
So I'm looking forward to this. But the only thing, and this is a nitpick, this comes out right after April 2nd. And the only thing I'm saying, and like I said, I got a feeling this is what's going to happen, because it's just all falling into line, especially after what Phil said today. April 2nd,
Go ahead
South
and say
of
it.
Midnight, Ninja Gaiden, Expedition 33, Switch 2. So I'm telling you, it's like that's
Yep. Say less. And this, especially South of Midnight and Vito, chances are we'll probably end up watching the Expedition 33. But both of those, one comes out at the beginning of April and the other one comes out at the end of April.
Yeah.
Like that's a tight turnover, especially for big, like two new IPs that are supposed to be big. I don't know.
The only way I see it working is because they're spreading the love everywhere. Like if it was only on Xbox, yeah, I feel like they're stepping on each other's toes. But if you're talking about, to me, I'm looking at South of Midnight. That is a game that I see Nintendo's crowd, and I see like I'll give Xbox crowd playing. When I look at Expedition 33, that's Sony and Nintendo all day. Like that's Sony and Nintendo 100%. And then I feel like Ninja Gaiden can fall anywhere, as well as Doom.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, them coming like right behind each other.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Right. And especially right after the big announcement of the Nintendo like actual like full on reveal.
Yes.
2 days after.
2 days.
2 days after.
And that's where like like I said, some of the rumors now are like, hey, Nintendo's kind of told everybody that's doing big releases, hey, keep it on the hush. Don't put our logo up there yet. And you know, whenever we announce it, all right, go do your thing. But like I said, as much as while I have Game Pass right now, I have Xbox right now. Come April 2nd, if either of these titles are up there, I'm spending my money instead of just using Game Pass. Yeah,
I'm the same way.
Which is, you know, with this being $40 too is a plus. Like with South of Midnight showing $40, smart.
Yeah. What are you gonna say, Vito?
I was saying use that tax money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, I already got that spent somewhere, man. That's
It's already gone.
That's a screen in the backyard, and that's the fence in my backyard.
next month is our bonus check. So
ooh.
Yeah, so we get bonus check and then taxes coming. So
we got that conversation this week about compensation. Yeah, so
so it may we'll see. J Big said I need more woke black women games. I feel that. Andre said stop motion, they don't get it.
That still baffles me. That's crazy.
Right. RJ said I remember I had to tell them the 2 Lego movies, Batman, Spider-Man, and Rudolph. Yeah.
Oh, Rudolph, the classic Rudolph. Because wasn't Nightmare Before Christmas? Yeah.
Yep.
Which is crazy because they never did it for it was like they couldn't do the stop motion for the PlayStation 2, you know, for Kingdom Hearts games, which is
right. Yeah. I forgot they do have a level in Kingdom Hearts 2. That's man, that's still my most favorite Kingdom Hearts.
Which is weird because there's certain enemies in the game that do that stop motion when you actually hit them. 2 is the best. I only like it in Gumby, Santa Coming to Town, and Rudolph.
Boy, I hadn't seen Gumby in so long.
Right.
My man inspired a whole haircut.
Right. The whole haircut. He inspired
had a haircut.
Listen, he inspired us so much. He ended up convincing the king, not the king of pop, but the jack of pop, if you will.
The jack of pop Bobby?
Yeah. To go ahead and do the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Andre said they definitely smoothed out a lot of issues that we saw in the original. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's check out this next one. This next one, Vito, is Ninja Gaiden. And a well-known developer has jumped into helping this development. Which I'm actually excited about. This is what changed up the whole thing because I love Ninja Gaiden, but this like putting these 2 together was like, no question.
Yep.
Several years ago, the Dark Dragon, youngest of the divine dragon gods, wreaked havoc across the world. The plot was ultimately thwarted through the efforts of a sole ninja. However, the Dark Dragon's husk remained, and from this husk fell an endless downpour of cursed rain. The abandoned Tokyo continues its struggle against chaos to this day.
Infiltrated the facility. Commencing mission.
Yeah, boy.
Platinum.
Yeah, boy. Woo! Woo!
No escape. This is it.
Yeah, Ali.
Ryu Hayabusa.
Whatever your clan is plotting, it ends here.
So you've come.
All this dismemberment.
Right.
Fuck off, Hayabusa. I will execute my mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Kind of looks Souls like right there. That was dope. Yeah,
Now, how I'm curious as into what changes or what implementations Platinum had with this one. I'm very curious because I'm curious on the movement because playing Ninja Gaiden Black 2 yesterday, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is how Ninja Gaiden feels. But when I go back to like a Bayo or a DMC, I'm like, okay, this to me, I like that movement better. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this one feels.
This one looks like it's a tad bit faster.
Yeah, it looks like it's
So,
faster.
like this man is bouncing around the room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's boy, and that's at the end of the year. So I'm curious if that's a holiday title. I'm curious to see what it's up against, but I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeesh. I hope it comes out in October. To be honest with you,
Me too. Yeah.
I think that'd be safe.
Very.
Vito, Vito, how you feel about it?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't think I've only played maybe one Ninja Gaiden
Okay.
game or whatever. So I mean, it looks cool and it definitely looks like something I'll mess around with. But it just made me want DOA more. Like I'm waiting for DOA to come out. So you know, seeing my man on there, I was like, I just want DOA now. You know what I'm saying? So,
I feel that. For me, yeah, this is definitely going to be a pickup. I mean, I love Platinum. And like, I've liked all the Ninja Gaidens before, but kind of like Jack said, like the movement in this one just looks like they kind of just dropped the engine for Bayonetta in here and was like, let's just speed it up.
Yeah.
Just
And that's what it felt like. Because like even watching Jay play today, I was like, am I missing something? Like I'm so used to games now to where there is like a dodge button and a way to quickly out the way to where it's like only one dash with Ninja Gaiden right now. And I'm like, I'm curious if Platinum is gonna add that because when you think about Bayonetta, like that witch time and movement, that's what it's all about. So
and it kind of showed. It felt like one of the dodges he had, like it kind of like slowed it down just for a split second. So
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. And to be honest with you, I don't know. Watching this the second time and watching that dude Raven, because that's the character that he kind of dope, bro. I hope Ryu don't kind of sleep on. I know Ryu got skills.
And I think Andre hit the nail on the head. This really is like DMC5 in the nature that you have like two different players and you get to play as both. And so that's man, this might. And like I said, I'm a big fan of Platinum. There's only a few developers. If I see their name, I'm picking it up, and Platinum's one of them for sure. Yeah,
Platinum bring heat, especially when they're working with other people or on other people's stuff.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So I'm all for it.
Let me see. Risky said it looks better than DMC5. Andre says simply because they didn't get to develop a show.
Because it was something he said earlier. Said he was pissed off at Sega about it. But I mean, look, because right now Shinobi's getting with that side scroller supposedly. So I mean, when was the last 3D Shinobi we had though?
I don't know, to be honest with you. But I mean, real talk, when's the last time we got a reveal from Sega about these games that was coming out?
Don't remind me. Do not remind me. Because the fact that we're in a whole other year and we have heard nothing.
Dead
Like
silent.
you had the world in a vice grip,
Mhm.
and people were like, "Y'all doing this for real? Like we don't have to beg for Dreamcast no more. Like
Mhm.
y'all really doing this?" And they was like, "Here you go, bye."
Right.
Come on, man.
Miss me.
Right.
He said this game is straight up pulling a Devil May Cry 4 though. Nero, obviously the new guy facing off against Dante, the old guy, and you play as both characters. Yeah, I get it. Jay said I was hoping to get Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3 on NSO. We got Fatal Fury 2 instead, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. This is all right. RJ said they said Platinum Games was all about speed when it comes to them co-developing a game, which I mean
they need to, yeah.
Because I think if this game moved any slower than what it did, the execution of even the moves would look weird.
Right.
Like him doing that like quick attack dash, like that would look weird if he was like moving like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, I need my boy to move a little bit faster there. Let's see. Exodia said, let me get this straight. Ninja Gaiden exists, but people are still complaining about Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Look, there's people that I don't know why, but they are still big fans of Assassin's Creed. To me, Assassin's Creed lost its power a long time ago. They drove that game into the ground by doing what seemed like annual releases. It's I don't know, the appeal of it is just not there anymore. So even with them finally going to Japan, it's like a little too late because Ghost just did it, and they did it in an amazing fashion. I know you're not gonna get nowhere close to that. I know you're not. So like I don't know.
I think me and Vito even talked about that like a while ago when Ghost even first came out, and we were like basically Ghost did this, so like what's that gonna look like if Assassin's Creed eventually does it? Like can they pull it off better? Like how's that gonna look? But now we're looking at it, and it's
all I can say is, I mean, while I'm hearing good things about this beta, if this don't pull through, somebody purchasing Ubisoft. Somebody buying Ubisoft.
Somebody's still gonna buy
it. Somebody will, yeah.
It's crazy to me to think, and I don't want to get off on a tangent again, but it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me to think that this game was so big back in our day, in the 360 times, and it was coming out every year. We didn't get burnt out at the time, but like eventually that way that they were making it, like the game mechanics of it, eventually burnt us out, and they were like, okay, that's fine. We're gonna take a year off, and we're gonna implement some new game mechanics, and then they brought in a new game mechanics, and we were like, okay, I could get down with this.
Yeah.
Hey, what really burnt it out? It was that we was waiting on that storyline, right? Of what's going to happen to Desmond and all this other stuff
after 3. Yeah,
after 3, and when 3 gave us that crappy ending, and we keep having the same mechanics over and over each year, stuff like that, and they give us that crappy ending. We was like, "Are you what?
Right?
Who? They did what?
Right?
Like, yeah, nah."
See, I'm with you on that part, but then also too, whenever I play Assassin's Creed, it seems like it's a lot of filler just to make it seem like a fleshed out world. There's so many different things you can go and do and ping pong here and there, but none of it feels smooth. Like if I'm going somewhere and I'm trying to do a mission, it's like, okay, sneak around here, sneak around there, get in here, do that task, and it's like, okay, let's add some excitement to this game, because really there isn't any. And to me, honestly, I think they, in a way, did the same thing with Prince of Persia. Like Prince of Persia was rolling, and then the last game or so, it was like, okay, we kind of get worn out with these Prince of Persias, because you're not really doing anything crazy. Because even the last one, you couldn't even die in the last one, could you? Because every time you would get ready to fall or whatever, the girl that you had just pick you up.
Yeah.
And I was like, then that kind of just defeats the whole reverse mechanic. But it's like, but all in all, I don't know. Like Ubisoft is going to drive something to the ground. It is, and that's very evident. But they got enough franchises not to do that, though.
Yeah. What's worse, what's bad about it is like after 3, right? So we got 4. And I think 4 really kind of ended off the mechanic of how that game played. And then we slid into Origins, right? No.
Yeah. Well, didn't Origins come right after that? Or was it the
other
flag?
It was all right. So it was all right. So after 4, it transitioned to the one when you played as a Templar.
Syndicate, right? Oh
no. You played as a Templar. It was a Rogue, Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Okay.
Then it goes to Unity, which was in France. Then it goes to Syndicate, and that was the last one before they went into Origin.
Okay, so Origin started like the whole change up of like the whole fight mechanic by that time.
Yeah,
because I think they ran that old mechanic into the dirt. But
at that point, after Syndicate, that's when they said, okay, we don't need to do this every year no more. You know what I mean? That's when they stopped doing that.
And that's and actually that was the beginning. To be honest with you, even though that first one was really good, that was the beginning of the end. If you look back at it, because like they started off with the new mechanic, and they were like, "Geez, this actually works. So let's go ahead and put it into Rome." Okay, it works in Rome. So let's go ahead and put it on to 3. Okay, it works for 3. So let's go ahead and put it. And you just did that. But not only that, you took that same mechanic and put it in all your other games too.
Yeah.
You put that same mechanic in Watch Dogs Legion.
Yep.
It was like, no, you weren't supposed to go backwards.
It was to the point where even in Watch Dogs Legion, they had a special mission with an Assassin's Creed assassin, and they put the mechanic in there for a hot second, then they took it out. Just you know, bro. I'm like, dude, y'all play too much.
It's wild, man. It's like they lost themselves. Either that or Eves is like, we really like this mechanic, so we're gonna help you do all of those in every single game. Just make sure that it's always in there.
But it's crazy to have 13 games over a span of how many years? Probably like 16.
Yeah,
that's disgusting. Like that's like, especially if you're talking about like an open world game, you should not be churning those out every year.
And 3 of those years were filled with DLC for one of the games. They ran that DLC for 3 years on.
That Valhalla. Oh my gosh! I thought it was over with.
No,
and
that's what. Like for me, the ones that I invested the most time in were Origins and Odyssey. I like the whole rank mechanic, but at the same time, they even found a way to mess that up. Because I remember when I first played Odyssey, I believe it was, and I'm going through the whole rank mechanic, and whenever you have like a bounty out on you, like one of them will come and try to hawk you down. So at this point in time, this was another issue or another game flaw. I was in one area to where I thought I needed to sneak around, and I'm like, there's a lot of people here, and so I got to sneak around and take people out. But in reality, all I had to do was just walk into the tent and talk to the dude, but it never really gives you like that clear indication, like, oh, because it told me I'm not supposed to be there. So I'm like, if I'm not supposed to be here, then I already know what time it is. So I just went through just murdering everybody. I cleared out the whole area, got to the tent. I'm like, oh, I was just supposed to walk in here? Like, okay, cool. But on that same note, because I somebody saw me, they put the bounty out. And when I tell you the number one person was on a whole other island, I'm like, all right, cool. He the one that's trying to hawk me down. He on a whole another island. I say 2-3 minutes later, he was next. He was right down the street. I said, how did you zoom him? That he couldn't get here that fast. I said, so that defeats the whole purpose, because now you're just going to place him where I am. And even the same thing, like when people start hunting you down to try to take your spot, and you're just sitting there like, okay, you can't see me, and they'll just sit there in the area like, I just know he's here. I know he's here.
Right.
Like, how you know I'm here? I didn't leave no trail. You didn't even see me. Like, why do you know where I'm at?
Talk to you.
Yo, what's crazy is if you like if you find out that you have like a warrant on you, and you look at the map, and you actually go into the map, you can see him moving like he in a car or something like that. You're like,
it's ridiculous.
Right.
And then like when you actually see him, when he catch up with you, he been running this whole time.
Yeah,
he
the
wasn't on
entire
a horse
time.
or none of that. He's been running this whole time. Like, bro, what?
I was like that. I mean, great thought, but flawed. I said I don't know if Shadows of Mordor took anything that y'all couldn't use, but y'all could have found something better because that game did it amazing. Like it was a good ranking system for Shadows of Mordor, but yeah, I don't know.
And then like the dude that you beat or whatever that came back, whoever it is, whatever, he'll rank back up. He's not chasing after you, right?
Right.
You might cross him during a battle, like you getting into it with some people, like it's a group of people, you getting it. Next you know, hey, didn't do that little pause, like, oh snap, he back. And then
I remember
iron
you.
jaw and the iron leg and all that, and you're like, oh snap.
Yeah.
All right. But he didn't hawk you down like the Assassin's Creed joint where you're like, dude, I see you.
Right.
And
I mean, moving at the
you
speed
are
of
moving
light.
fast.
Like,
My man was on a flying kite.
Flying Nimbus, because I'm like, how did you get here that fast? You on a whole nother island, homie. Like, what is going on?
What boat got me?
All right. So our next one, Vito, I know you don't like first-person shooters,
I
but
don't either.
our next one is let me take
Yeah, I'm a Kendrick fan, so of course I don't like first person shooters.
Wow, that was clever, sir. I hope that is going on an album. I need that line somewhere on the album before I steal it. And I'm letting you know right now, I'm stealing it if you don't use it.
So we got Doom, Dark Ages.
All right. Wait, that's the first person?
Engines online.
Is that a mech?
This game this is literally just pure video game. Like, hey, we got this idea, put it in there.
Right.
Like, does it fit? Don't care. Just throw it.
Give it a whole level, you be all right.
The weirdest game. Like, I'm with you, Vito. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of first person shooters. I like third person shooters more. That's why I love Gears. But like Doom is so over the top, dude. Like, I think the last Doom I played was was it 2016? Like the remake?
Oh, the remake. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like that game. It was so intense. I was like, dude, where am I supposed to be going? I'm constantly getting like shot down. I'm running out of ammo. I'm like, am I not supposed to kill everybody? Like, what is really going on? Like, Doom is just a lot of games. So I mean, I know why people like it because it's just hectic, and it reminds me of like Quake and Unreal Tournament. But it's just like, jeez. But I wish it was third person. I just first person just don't click with me.
Yeah. Same thing with me. You know what I'm saying? Well, this looked like I did play a first person game that looked just like this, and it's called Warhammer.
Yep.
And yeah, that's the only thing I could say. Like watching this after actually playing like Space Marines recently. I'm like, this is Warhammer, bro. Like what? Like all the rest of the Warhammer games and stuff
Or
like
like
that.
Wolfenstein.
So I'm like, this is beside the big giant transformer mech they made at the end of the thing. I was like, what is that?
Right.
And then you're still in first person fighting it. I'm like, no, that's when
That's
you got
the part
third
that
person.
I
That's
just
when you say that.
can't.
But other than that, I mean, yo, it come out on Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? I'll
give it a shot. Yeah,
I'll cloud play it.
This one comes out. What I forgot.
May?
May. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No. I mean, I've always liked the Doom games. This one looks like you said over the top, and it's going to be interesting. He didn't have a shield before, so now he's got a shield. This is actually a prequel to the 2016 game. So, but yeah, I mean, it looks fun. It looks fun. It looks interesting. What I will say though is, and I said this in when we were watching it on the Winged It podcast, or when we were watching it with Jay, is that they were telling too much. And I would even say the same for Expedition 33, the one that we're gonna watch next. But I feel like y'all was giving way too much information. Like like the whole mech thing and the whole flying on the back with the dragon thing, y'all could have left that out. Like
because that would be crazy to see that when you playing it.
Yeah. But now I know what to expect. So now it's just gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm in the mech. You know what I'm saying? Like I finally got to the
back
mech.
of the dragon.
Yeah, you know, like that would have been like, what? Dang, he got a mech too.
So now you're just waiting for it.
Yeah, you ruined that surprise. So.
Hey, but you know what? They still could surprise you. What if, like, you know, you get your little mech, but you got the little dragon, and the dragon, like, you get on the back of the dragon, and the dragon flies into the mech, and that's what takes you into the mech. That would be some hard.
That's a lot.
I mean,
hey, you said it was over the top.
That's a lot.
You know what I'm saying? On some Power Ranger type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Power Ranger.
It's Power Ranger for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, what time you at?
Got my man's doing the Pacific Rim thing with his own kaiju. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it's gonna be a well received game. I think it's gonna be fun. I am interested to see if they're gonna do a DLC multiplayer, and if they are, no.
Yeah,
I mean, I would because that would make sense because he gets the shield, and the shield is like the natural, like secondary, weapon. It wouldn't make sense if everybody had a shield that you could just you
ain't get out of the pocket real fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, why are you spamming the shield though?
Right.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing better to do. Why you spamming the shield?
Yeah.
Okay, so our last trailer before we get into our main topic is none other than Expedition 33.
Immature.
Hey, South of Midnight is the only thing that gets close this week.
Being out here isn't what I expected.
Legacy can take many forms, right? Learn from the ones who came before.
And lay the trail for the ones who come after.
Wait, I hear something.
Get ready. Is that a Kestrel?
I still can't believe they exist.
To what do we owe the pleasure of your company? I just need one foot. Aha!
You can turn into a Levron.
Bonjour, mes amis.
We need to cross the sea? Bulger said you could help?
All right. Ready to sail like a snail.
This is a much better way to travel.
We're gonna take down the painters, just the three of us?
I didn't take you for a coward.
I'm not a coward.
As long as even one of us stands, our fight is not over.
All right, I'm gonna say this first.
Man.
Vito, because this game, so the action in the game already had me, but the story behind the game really has me, got me really interested. So the reason why they call it Expedition 33 is because there is a painter, is what they call it, a painter who writes down a number every single year, and every single year that number gets lower and lower, and whoever is above that number dies. They're just dead.
Yep.
So they're trying to figure out how to basically kill the painter more or less before that number drops down to a point where they can't fight, basically.
Yeah.
So that's where the Expedition 33 comes in. I'm assuming all of them are 33 years or less in age. Trying to find out a way to defeat the painter. So I'm like, yo, this is a nasty concept.
Yeah.
You always gonna feel, and so like now immediately you already have that connection with like the characters in the game, because you're like, bro, I want to find out too. So with that being said, Jack, how do you feel about the game?
So the same vein as you, like, to me, some games just really don't do a good job getting me caught up in story. Like, I rather just jump straight to the action. I don't want to hear what's going on. I honestly don't care, because I'm not going to really get invested into the characters like that. But the way, like you said, like the way they set it up, each character has something that they're going for. Like, everybody has their own story, and it all comes to the same destination, but at the same time, like, everybody's coming from something different. Even going into saying like how you can craft these characters with their leveling up system. For me, just with these headphones, these aren't like the best headphones, but that music and the sound like had me thinking like, dang, I need to get me a surround sound system. Like, I don't like playing games with headphones on. I got too much going on around in my house. So for me, nice sound system, just hearing it just boom, even with some of those hits and with the sound, amazing. And then to get back to what we were speaking on earlier with the Pokemon topic, like somebody has to do something different or go back to like an older style that was great with these fighting systems. You know, like me pressing a button and just praying and wishing for a crit, or, you know, hoping that I don't miss, or whatever case may be, like is kind of a tired fighting system. So when they got into like, okay, your inputs and timing are very, you know, important within these fights, is amazing. And I can only imagine if you play it enough, you can up this to, I'm pretty sure there is a hard mode to where they turn those off.
Oh yeah.
So now you gotta know like what you're doing with
at
those
the right
those
time.
at the right time. Yeah. So I mean, we've seen it with what is it? Mario and Luigi, the Mario and Luigi games, to where you can negate damage if you can time it the right way, and you can even continue to add on damage if you hit those attacks the right way too. So it's giving the player control to really enhance the fight the way they want to, opposed to me like, okay, I want the strongest sword and level up my character and then have the strongest attack, and that's the only way I'm going to cause crazy damage on you. No, if I know what I'm doing, if I know how to time this stuff correctly and also use the right attacking weapon, I can get you up out of here quick.
Right.
Because it becomes skill based at that point, along with your character being like fleshed out. I love that aspect of it. They talked about, you know, having like the 3D open world, well, not open world, but over world map.
Yeah.
And they were also mentioning like if you kind of go into certain areas, you can find like these secret bosses and enemies that you can fight too. So it adds to that whole traversal aspect of it. You know, that most of us that want to be 100%ers or just want to dig into the guts of the game, pause, is just like one of those things that you really want to explore. So I'm all for it, man. Like I don't know what they're gonna price this one at. I'm pretty sure it's got to be like a 50 or 60 because this is a new company. And you never want to come out the gate as the new company. No, I don't care how good your game looks. Your first game shouldn't be $70. Like, so like, dial that back. I'm looking forward to it in April. You know, fingers crossed that, you know, we talking Switch 2 at the that way I can just have my one console like I want to. And like I said, go get the surround sound system and hey, just get invested into an RPG again because it's been a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel you on the sentiment because this one actually, well, I'll save my thoughts for it in a second. Vito, how you feel about it?
I'm not really big on like RPGs sometimes. Sometimes it is kind of, but this right here, it does bring like this like I wished I did have headphones on right now or something just to hear that music because it was like
banging
stuff. So like just looking at some of the mechanics and everything like that of how it looks like it kind of works and stuff, I feel like it's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I've ever seen something like the way this is. Maybe well, not haven't seen, but you know what I'm saying, like the way they've done it, it makes everything just kind of like very interesting. I want a demo right now. You know
thank you.
Want a demo right now to kind of test this out to see how it is, but it definitely does look like something I'll mess around with real quick. When does it come out? Did they have a
it's the end of April.
Yeah, this like April 28th, I think, or something like that.
24th.
24th. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a minute before I get it, but you know,
I feel that.
Still dope though.
RJ said it's $40 or $50. He said
that's amazing.
That's good. That's crystal.
That's
40 or 50 for that.
Yeah,
that's crystal. Kind of similar to Valkyrie profile. Yeah. What up, J2? By the way, appreciate you coming through, bro. Yeah, no, you know, I think it, and you kind of said it, Vito. I don't think the last time I remember a RPG kind of running like that is Lost Odyssey, maybe. That kind of had the similar mechanic of like you got to time it just right to get the right, you know, the right hit. And then and when I first saw this, I was like, dang, this is like taking the Legend of Dragoon mechanics and like, you know, pushing them way past their limits. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like you said, Jack, this is like, this becomes skill based. Like it's not about having the best weapon and having your regular stats bumped up, you know, to the highest level after you push the A button a million times. get your experiences, right? So I think this game is top notch. Oh, give me a second. Hold on, guys. Give me a second.
But yeah,
sound like it looked like somebody getting in trouble. You see his mouth moving. I told you.
No, I forgot I was making cinnamon almonds, and so I was having her stir them every 30 minutes, but I don't want them to turn, so I needed her to turn them off. Actually, really, they should have been turned off about an hour ago, but
cinnamon
looking at
almonds.
them, not almonds, cinnamon pecans this time.
Okay.
Yeah, but they look like they were cooking slowly, so I might be okay.
I ain't gonna lie. I think the best little cinnamon pecans or almonds I've had in a while was from a gas station down here in the South called Buc-ee's.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, we know about Buc-ee's.
Yo, my mom raves for Buc-ee's. She was like, man, y'all need to get a Buc-ee's down here in Florida. I was like, what in the world is Buc-ee's? She was like, the gas station that got everything. And I was like, well, that's Wawa's for us. Like,
Wawa's.
Listen,
Wawa's is actually coming to, I believe they said somewhere in Atlanta somewhere.
I'm surprised
a
Atlanta
Wawa
ain't got
company.
Atlanta got everything.
Man,
Michigan don't have either one of those. To be honest. They ain't got either one of those. The closest we getting is maybe Ohio.
Right.
And we don't, and Michigan don't mess with Ohio like that. So
I guess the closest thing to our all right, well, y'all don't even got a QT up there, do y'all?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
The
I've seen
closest
some
thing would probably be like Speedway or something like that.
Okay.
That'd be the closest to
Speedway is all right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot smaller than what y'all talking about, but yeah, it's all right. It do all right.
No, like Buc-ee's is a grocery store. That thing is huge. Like it don't make no sense how big Buc-ee's is. Pause. Like it has its own gas station thing. It has a whole bunch of like 100 pumps for the gas or whatever. You go inside, like they're literally selling everything. Like it looks like a small Myers.
That's crazy.
If that can be a comparison for you, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like that.
That's crazy.
You smell Fred Meyers?
Banging, huh?
Fred Meyers?
No, we got a store up in Michigan.
Yeah, it's called Meyer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, Fred Meyers is still around?
It's like
it's Walmart, but like
Walmart, but
okay,
better. It's like
ain't hard to do.
If Walmart was here and Sam's was here, Meyer is like linked more towards Sam's than it is Walmart.
Oh, okay. So it's like a whole bulk sale.
No, but without the bulk. It's better sale, but without the bulk.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So now that we've gone through our regular trailers, which Detroit versus Detroit, please believe
it's more hard. Pause. I was like, I don't know what you mean by more hard.
I mean, look, listen, super pause, but they call us the D for a reason. Super pause.
Yeah, pause. That's wild.
What do you say? Detroit versus Baltimore. Which one? Like,
which is hard?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, which and what reference are you talking about? Hard?
Because they both equally as crazy as far as
they really are.
Like
gangster
people.
Yeah,
like they're both equally as crazy. But if you talk about sports, then I don't know where they're. But talking about regular, man, Baltimore.
I'm giving to Baltimore because of that accent. That's wild. Like you being gangster and talking like that is wild.
Yeah, like few. Like what? What you say? No, this is endearment.
Eat the snoot.
It's like, hold on, did I just step into England, man?
What's wrong with you? Like, I had a home, like off topic. Well, not that topic, but we're talking about this now. But I had a homeboy that I was in the military with. He was from Baltimore. Now, granted, this is before I knew Baltimore even had an accent or anything like that. And I would hear him say that. I was like, did he just say two like that? I was like, maybe he just got like a speech impediment or something. I didn't think nothing of it. And then as time went along, I was like, oh, so all of y'all do this. Like, this is wow. And then we'll like actively say, oh, I'm not saying anything weird. The hell you not? Like, did you hear what you're saying? Yeah.
Hey, what's that clip when it was like, what's your favorite cuss word? What's your favorite cuss word? Oh, it's probably snack and flex on the vegan. What did you just what?
Wow. I'm telling you, Baltimore, Louisiana. Like I said, if somebody's deep in that Creole, like people think Adam Sandler was going like above and beyond with the dude on Waterboy.
Yeah, no, that was like when you get into them, like okay, when you get with them, all right. So when you go in the swamp, that's what I call like when you go around them areas, because I got like somebody at work with me right now like that. When we like every time he talk, I think about Gambit. I think about Waterboy.
I forgot all about Gambit. It's on Deadpool.
Gambit. I think about Waterboy. like, and then of course, like you know, you got your black ones that got you gonna do that for True?
Yeah,
I was pregnant for him. Me?
Yeah.
I'm like what?
It's crazy.
Like it get crazy with that accent and just what they saying. It's like another patois. Matter. Ooh, Jack. Have you been around anybody from North Carolina or South Carolina that speak Geechee?
Used to date one. Yeah.
Oh my.
wow.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Used to date one.
When I say that's like the American version of patois, that's
Boy.
pretty much what it is.
Oh my goodness. And people thought I was bad. I was like, dude, I'm just from Alabama. I'm just country. The rest of this stuff, I said, that's coming from some foreign land y'all ain't never even heard of us. This is crazy.
Oh my God.
Those Cajun accents outrageous and unacceptable. Like, because when they were talking about like Ryan Reynolds was talking to old boy about like doing Gambit, he was like, hey, just take it to the next level. And he had me in there rolling like this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Is he from New Orleans?
No.
No.
He had to study for that role.
Oh, I was about to say, I was
Yeah.
like, because in a sense it sounded forced like a mug, and it almost
Oh yeah, it was
sounded-
forced.
But like, man, if you really talk to somebody that's like really in them swamps, it's a whole different, and that's the white ones. That ain't even the Creole. That'd be the white ones.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, Alpha Midnight gotta have it. Like they got to. Everything I could understand too much in that game from that trailer. Like I need somebody. I'm like, run that back. What did you say to me?
You just cuss at me.
Oh,
All I heard was crawfish. Like what is going on? Like you're doing too much.
Dude, there's a dude on YouTube. I be watching him and stuff. He from New Orleans and stuff like that. And he, oh my gosh, when he cooking, he be like, you gotta have that Holy Trinity. You gotta put that in there. Yeah, you never know what is he saying. What you just
See,
said?
RJ, I didn't know that. I didn't know his dad was from Louisiana. It speaks to it now. If he went and he studied his daddy.
Oh
yeah.
And then of course you got just the regular people that don't speak the Creole that just speaks like just with that heavy New Orleans accent and slang. It's like
baby, yeah, all of that.
What did you just say? Gonna put some of that gravy on that water. Like, what is that? And look, one time I swear this was like right after Katrina. And shout out to my homeboys and stuff, but like a lot of like New Orleans people came to Atlanta and Metro Atlanta and stuff like that. So we had a lot of people from New Orleans and stuff. So this dude named Harrell, which is he kept saying his name was Harrell, right? It's really Harold, right? It's just the way he was saying it. So everybody kept calling him Harrell. They kept calling him Harrell. but it's really Harold. But
Harrell.
One time he kept asking me, he was like, hey, pat me that red grave over there. And I was like, what? That red grave over there. And I kept looking, I was confused. You know how you get confused? Somebody keeps saying something to you and you hear it, but you don't know what they're talking about, and you're trying to figure out, then your head start kind of getting hot. You be like, okay, I'm feeling embarrassed because I don't know what he's talking about. And so I kind of looked at my homeboy and he was like, I don't know. He's like, the red gravy. And then he got up and got it. It was a bottle of ketchup. And I was like, mother.
He said gravy.
I almost flipped that table around. I was like, ketchup? Yeah. No. Just say ketchup. That red gravy. I'm like, nah, bro.
That ain't. He said red gravy.
Red gravy. Yeah. What? Well, he might as well be from Louisiana. I'm looking at now. He's from Coleman, Alabama. Might as well be.
Yeah.
Might as well, because that's in the sticks, sir.
Coleman?
Channing Tatum, yeah, from Coleman, Alabama. He in the sticks.
Ooh.
Woo, boy. But yeah. Okay. I'm off my thing.
Yeah.
All right. So we got our last little topic to talk about. Real quickly, because we had never gotten Vito's thoughts on it. Vito, you saw the reveal trailer for the Switch 2, right?
Very underwhelming, but yes.
He hated it.
Okay.
He hated it.
I figured. How did you feel about the design and all that? Just give your opinions. I asked you specifically.
I hated the fact they called it Switch 2.
You're in that camp.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I wanted it to be something else, like the Switch Extreme.
Oh,
Or
you were looking for them not to sell nothing, huh?
or some on some magnitude that's just it just I don't know. I just didn't want to be called Switch 2, which technically looking at it, I was like, yeah, that's definitely a Switch 2.
Yeah.
like just looking at it, yeah. But I was like, I don't want that to be y'all next system like that. I wanted that to be the Switch Pro. To be honest. That's honestly what I kind of looked at that should have been. Like that right there. Well, the way it looks now, the way it plays, the way it performs, I don't know yet, of course, but the way the reveal happened, and how that reveal was, it's classic Nintendo stuff. I just was hoping one of my predictions was gonna come right by saying it was gonna come out during the Super Bowl. Like I
think a lot of people thought that actually.
Yeah, I was like, that would have been classic. Like we sitting up here watching the Super Bowl. We just got done watching Kendrick talk about some mustard, and then next thing you know, like it goes to commercial, and they go, like, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like how the console looks, that's cool that the Joy-Cons are, that solid color. I feel like if we wanted to have the red and blue, like we can, get like like special order Joy-Cons and stuff like that, swap about or whatever. But just to have it kind of like that, and then the outline, that gummy, whatever that part. I don't know if that's gummy or not. I think they just made it look gummy. But just that
the rubber part,
the rubber joint.
Yeah,
like just that looked cool. It kind of looked like the controller was a little more bigger or something like that, where we can have like when you do play with it as a controller, with your friends or whatever on it, that would be just a tad bit more comfortable than the other one was. But you know what I'm saying, it definitely looked like the screen was bigger. Did it show the port? Did it show the
ports on the back?
No, did it show the what's name, the docking station?
Oh, yeah, the station, it literally looks like an old school toaster.
Yeah. So, and it had that 2 on it. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it Switch Pro. That's all it is. That's the way I look at it right now. Until I see it actually perform, it's Switch Pro.
Okay. Great segment. I appreciate that. Because that actually leads us into this video. I know that a lot of us have already seen this video. OJ talked about it. I think Andre talked about it as well. But this is the video that we kind of got last, I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday. So this guy here, he's actually a developer, and what do they call that? Like authorized developer. For the original Switch. And so he's giving his take on what little footage we got of Mario Kart, whatever this next Mario Kart is going to be, and kind of gives off some hints as to how capable the actual system is, even though the picture that we're seeing is an offshoot footage, and I think he said something else about it not being like the actual version of the actual game itself. So I'll break it down and stop in pieces when we need to stop, but yeah.
Hello everyone, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jarrell. I develop video games full-time for a living.
Hold on, his name is Jarrell.
Today I wanted to take a look
at his name is Jarrell.
Yo, pause that.
Don't match at all.
This man's name is Jarrell.
Yeah, his name is Jarrell. That's a Jarrell right there.
That's a
Jarrell.
Advertising. False advertising. All right, go ahead.
If you read it the way it's written, the To Nintendo Switch, we will take a look at the Mario Kart 9 video that they showed us to analyze just how strong the 2 is compared to the Switch. So I will be approaching this as a developer. I've worked extensively on the 3DS, Wii U, and the Switch. So I want to point out the things that I see as a massive improvement that will really help developers get more out of their creative vision and to do more with their games. So I just want to make sure that I don't accidentally reveal anything that's protected by NDA, so I'm very careful with my script here. So the first thing I want to point out is the universal use of physically based shaders. In computer development or video game design and with computer.
Side note, just so y'all know, this is our Shadow Fox for tonight. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And graphics.
Because he actually has
physically based shaders,
games
basically
he's doing on the Switch.
Yeah,
So
I figured.
Which is interesting as into why he mentioned they haven't come out yet, and which is something that everybody totally forgot about, and that was the crap that Unity pulled.
Yeah.
And so that's why he was like, they forced me into the new version of Unity, which breaks his entire game. So now he's just waiting for this to come out so it works.
That was wild.
Instructions on how a piece of geometry, like a character model, how that is going to look visually, how will it interact with other visual elements in terms of lighting and shadows. And a physically based shader is something that's able to take into account reflections from the environment. If light bounces off other surfaces, that it's able to express those colors in the lighting. And it's what has allowed games to look so much more interesting and engaging because of the more complex lighting. Something that I see here, the lighting on this car here is actually quite telling, or this model here is, this is quite low quality, but if you watch the high quality video that I'll put the link to on Nintendo's channel, you'll see that there's a high resolution specularity map. Now, a specularity map is what tells a 3D model how shiny does it look in certain parts, what are the surface imperfections in terms of glossiness. So some parts, might look like it has less shininess because it's dirty. I've noticed that on a background element like this, it is very high resolution detail, and I will discuss that in more aspects as well. But every single piece of geometry that I see here is using physically based rendering for the shaders. Now, this is something that in general is quite expensive. So on the Switch, on the original Switch, you would be very careful with the complexity of your shader. The more complex your shader is, the more demanding it is on the hardware, the more frame drops you have. You get less performance out of the machine because physically based shaders are more expensive to render. But what I'm seeing here is everything is physically based. You see the glossiness on the cart here, on the wheels. Now, this is a very subtle detail, but it is very important to notice this, and it can be quite hard to notice this, but Mario is actually receiving reflections from the ground here. If you have a look at the bottom of his face, you see it's quite warm and yellow. Even the bottom of his gloves, that means that they are actually accepting the reflections of the ground here. In this section here, you see extensive use of squash and stretch, which is what I was hoping we would see.
Now, you were talking about this part, Jack. It's like how you noticed in the first video when we first watched this, like the whole cart, like, kind of did this motion of actually bouncing.
And I've always expressed, like, I don't know the ins and outs of this stuff, but when you start seeing animation like that, I know that it requires a lot. Because you see games that are very stiff and they're very like from motion to motion, and you don't really see a lot of transition in between. But the fact that you saw the springs expand on the car, you saw Mario's face expand, that's got to be doing a lot for that to work and still be moving at 60 frames, which I'm assuming this will be, because it's always like Mario Kart always is at top notch. So yeah.
Jay said, since we never got a proper Switch Mario Kart, I think this started at Mario Kart Switch once they saw 30, 40, 50. So Nintendo said, let's hold on to this for a rainy day.
That's believable. That's believable, because it's like we haven't gone without a Mario Kart for each system. And
Yeah.
while I feel like Deluxe was supposed to be like that filler because it didn't get the love it was supposed to get on the Wii U, I don't think they expected this.
No,
I don't.
definitely not at those sales at that
No.
level.
No.
Which is crazy.
After Mario Wonder showed us such expressive animations for that game, so I'm really happy to see that sort of expressive animation that's just so interesting to look at. Something that is very important to note here is the use of very high resolution ground textures on Mario Kart 8 versus what we see here, which we'll be calling Mario Kart 9. The texture resolution on the grounds on Mario Kart 9 is significantly higher. Now, ground textures, because they take up so much space, they are something that have to be high resolution. They can consume your available RAM very quickly. The Switch had only about 4 gigabytes of RAM, you know, some of it is reserved for the system. So if you have too many high resolution textures, your game will crash and you'll get all sorts of other issues. So it's up to developers to make sure that they do not use too many high resolution textures. So on Mario Kart 8 and other Switch games, you see that you have to be very careful, and in general, textures are not very high resolution. But you can see here, in Mario Kart 9 especially here, these textures on the ground are very high resolution, and it is not just that they are high resolution, but there is a high number of unique textures that they use. So the reason why they can consume memory so much faster is because it is not just one texture that is being used. There's multiple graphical files that are being supplied. You have one file that determines the color, you know, what the actual graphics are. You have one that controls the normal maps, how bumpy the surface is, but it can also catch light and express a sense of depth and shadows. You also have your specularity maps. You can optionally have ambient occlusion, which sort of explains to the renderer how something should occlude light, if it should exclude light to make it look darker in some areas. You can have height maps as well. You can have detail maps. You can have masks that explain where to have details. So all of those textures contribute to just one piece of geometry, and when you increase the resolution, all of those things in general, you would increase the resolution of all of those things unless you want to manually optimize. So you're not just going and increasing the size by a little bit, you're increasing the size by a significant amount. So I would not be surprised if the RAM for the Switch 2 was between 12 to 16 gigs.
So that's a huge one, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the rumors were saying that it was somewhere between 12 and 16 already from the get-go. Now he's saying because of all this that you can see with the textures of the ground and the mapping and stuff, that it's at 16, that it's got to be around there, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy to put in a handheld, but you know, I don't know too much. But even still, that's just off of that, and even thinking about Mario Kart 8 and even looking at the ground textures on this, it's like if you watch them go in slow motion, you can actually see them kind of having like a little bit of bop to them, you know, as they're riding down the highway, where in 8 that would have just been like, you know, smooth for them.
Yeah. Very stiff.
Yeah.
And then even with like I pointed out when we saw this at first too, whenever they're doing their drifting, and I don't know if this is them doing the drifting or just making like a standard turn, but getting up on 2 wheels to make a big turn. So I'm curious as into like, will the drifting look the same on this game, or was that just a simple turn to where it's, because it's a big turn, I'm making a turn without drifting? That's what it's going to look like. So I'm curious, because now it seems like they're adding more animation into this game.
Yeah, I wonder if drifting is going to be anything like you have to keep the. I mean, like in all Mario Karts, is you have to keep the drift, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. But there's nothing to say that if you start the drift and you let go of the controller, like as long as you hold that R button, you know, you can still hold that drift.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be to the point of like, don't let your car tilt back down type of drift. You know what I'm saying?
It might be a possibility.
You got to turn at the perfect time, or don't turn too sharp, or that boy will tip over. Like that whole adding that mechanic in itself, I think that's if they do something like that, that changes the whole game of Mario Kart.
It does 100%.
Because this is significantly more detailed. Something that is extremely important, that I think is the most important that we see here, is volumetric lighting. Volumetric lighting is not real lighting like we have in the real world. Nothing in a video game is what it actually represents in the real world. Volumetric lighting is advanced lighting that we have seen in many modern games that create a sense of density in the atmosphere. Light passes through the density and it makes games look realistic, but not just realistic, it makes games look interesting because it makes it look like the air has density to it. It can communicate a sense of fog, or it can be used for clouds, dustiness. You can see here, I can tell this is real volumetric fog. Normally games would fake a volumetric fog with a number of different techniques. In Mario Kart 8, what they did is they used just a basic distance fog, and that is very cheap to render, and then they used a whole lot of bloom. Bloom is a visual effect that is applied to the end image on screen that just sort of blurs the edges between the light areas and the darker areas of the scene to make it appear to have a soft halo. I'm not seeing that is significantly toned down. There's significantly less bloom here because now they have true volumetric lighting. True volumetric lighting is very expensive to render on the Switch. On PC, PlayStation, Xbox, it's not a big deal, but it is very expensive on the Switch. It takes a huge bite out of performance. If you try to have volumetric, you're basically cutting out, like, depending on if you're at lower resolution, you can minimize it to about like 20 to 25 frames a second, but true volumetric lighting at high resolution, if you're drawing at 1080, on the original Switch, you're probably gonna force your game to run at like 15 frames a second, and that's just with the lighting. That's not taking into account anything else in the scene. So the fact that this is using true volumetric lighting, where it takes into account the distance, the height, you can have certain areas be more dense the farther you get. You have light passing through it, it creates light rays. So it is just very pleasing to look at. It's very visually engaging and interesting. It's very expensive. That tells me that the Switch 2 is significantly more powerful because they want these games running, they would want this running at 60 frames a second, you know, if you're running at 1080. I'm not sure if this will have 4K using post-processing, but at 1080 surely they would want 60 frames a second. Nintendo products generally aim for very high level of quality, and to have volumetric lighting at that resolution at this frame rate is insane. I hope Mike's explanation helps you understand this is a massive deal. This is the
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of explained it all. Is like, you know, obviously, like you said, it's not as big of a hit on PC, you know, PlayStation 5 and Xbox, but you know, on the Switch, that took up a lot of the power you were using just to create volumetric lighting. So you didn't really see it honestly through a lot of games, and if you did, like you said, it was faked.
Yeah.
So the fact that this has that, you know, he says you could tell that the Switch 2 is significantly more powerful,
right,
than the original.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that shout out to RJ. Yes, we will definitely check out I will definitely check out his channel a lot more.
Yeah.
This was the first thing of his that I seen, and then I watched a couple other things. So but it's crazy to me that, you know, they're doing these kind of things, and you know they're looking to have it at 60 frames. And just the fact that he can get all of this off of an offshoot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if he can do that, or not him, but if they can do that with this, then obviously there might be a lot more room for developers as far as getting their titles on and stuff like that. And will they be one for one with the PS5 and the Xbox? No, I don't think so. But but to be a lot more high resolution and be a lot closer to them than the Switch was. I definitely think that's where the parity is going to come in. And really, if this system and the what do they call those developers, what they use to make the games,
It's about the engine
developer kit. Yeah, if the developer kit is not that much different from the original Switch, just a lot more of it. All right, Vito. If it's a lot more of it, then it should be not that problem to be able to get those games on there anyway, because you already know the system, right?
Correct. Yeah, I think that's always key, because when you jump to something different, then that means you're asking developers to learn something all over again, especially if you don't go with the standard x86 like Sony and Microsoft do. So essentially we're trying to relearn. I mean, we see that now with the PS5 Pro. They're trying to figure out what patches and things they have to do to actually allow PSSR to do what it's supposed to do. And something that Shadow always mentions, like, it's almost as if some developers didn't listen to Mark Cerny at all when it comes down to making games for this device, to where you really could get a lot out of it, but you just ultimately just choose to do what you know and just ignore everything that was told to you. So, every game is going to differ, and you will really be able to see who it is that really took advantage of it and who just chose to ignore it and try to like brute force their way through the process. We see it every generation, whether it's from Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. Somebody drops a game, that game gets touted as, oh, it looked good, so that means that this console can't handle it. Like, no, the developer just didn't do a good job. And then it takes for a GTA or something from Monolith Soft to show you, like, nah, they were the problem. The system isn't the problem. So with this being a bigger, better Switch, like you said, you know how to code for the Switch. You should know how to code for the Switch 2 at this point. I think it was him, and there's another developer that is on like Family boards and within the blogs that mention, there's a lot of developers that really have studied and learned how to use DLSS. Like, it's not anything that's brand new. So it's been around for a long time at this point, and we're on like version 4 at this point in time. So everything that's being presented with this system isn't brand new. Right. So you as a developer, if you're knowledgeable enough, if you know how to make things work, this will work in your favor. But ultimately, I mean, this was a good showcase. Like you said, for the little span that they showed, and for him to be able to call off everything. He even mentioned too that he was very careful to make sure that he didn't hit any NDAs. He didn't he didn't mess nothing up. So I'm pretty sure that he's well versed. He mentioned that he doesn't have a dev kit for this, but he's pretty well versed within the Switch. So understanding what it can and what it can't do seems like it's in his ballpark. So I mean, seeing that and hearing that, I'm looking forward to what else we see for this game. Like, what is that it factor for this particular game? Because I mean, with Mario Kart 8, we had like the the gravity system, where we were spinning and hovering over stuff, and that was cool. But ultimately, like, Mario Kart does need a refresh. Like, we've had some of the same items this entire time. I mean, you're essentially just racing 50, 100, 150, 200 mirror. Like, it's been the same thing, and it didn't even click until I saw somebody do this really crazy challenge. He was trying to 100% all Mario Karts in 7 days, which he failed, and he failed because of Mario Kart 7. Because it was just ridiculous what he had to do in that game. But mentioning that Mario Kart DS did have a missions mode, and the fact that Nintendo has never touched that again, is surprising. So I'll be surprised if we don't see a reoccurrence of some type of single player or mission mode with this one. But I'm looking to see what that thing is for this one.
I think Watching the Game Explain one, they were asking him, I think they said something about the gasoline and something like that, or like repairing your car and stuff like that. I think those things would be really cool to add into the game, especially the gasoline one, man. That makes it all hectic.
Yeah.
You ran out of gas? Oh, sucks to be you. Guess you lost the game.
Yeah. I'm surprised to me, because Mario Kart will want everybody to, or Nintendo will want everybody to play the game. Something tells me that depending on like where you have it, as far as gas is concerned, would be dependent on your speed.
Yeah.
So like while you can ride around with no gas, you ain't going all that fast. Like
Yeah,
you gotta you gotta really
Get some
do
gas.
your thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool, and I'm curious to see if the vehicles make a difference. Because one key thing we saw was the different type of vehicles, and I'm curious if it's one of those, hey, you're in this environment, this vehicle is all purpose, so you're cool, but if you choose the wrong one, this could hinder your speed or hinder your drifting, or
Right.
you know what I'm saying, so where they
That
can get
would
a
be
little
cool.
technical. Yeah.
That would be cool, especially like looking at like Rosalina and this. She's in a snowmobile in the middle of the desert. Like,
Yeah. So I don't know what those advantages are in that situation, but but I don't know. I mean, it's the sky's the limit for Mario Kart, because they've kept it so samey all this time. And even when we talk about people wanting double dash mode and stuff like that, to me, honestly, I thought seeing these different paths and things of that nature were solely based off of possibly allowing you to adjust how many racers you have. Like, while we talk about 24, if we don't have 24 racers, I'm not trying to do this long race.
Right.
But if you want to dump it down to like 12 or whatever, then those barriers go out the way, and now we just go around this particular track.
Yeah.
But there's so many theories, so many possibilities, that if they show up with anything less than what people have been talking about, then that's a complete swing and a miss. It really is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. J Big said Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had great graphics, so if it ends up just like that, it'd be fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful game.
Brand Smith, what up, Brand Smith? Thank you for coming through, bro. He said first demand for Mario Kart 9/10, remove coins from item rotation. I think if like Jack was talking about, if gas is dependent on how fast or slow you go, that's what takes its place.
Yeah. The only way I say bring coins back is if they use a function of you buying stuff. Like, but other than that, no. Please keep coins
slightly faster.
Yeah.
I didn't like that either.
Because I didn't even notice the difference. They was like, oh, get 10 to go fast. I'm like, I can't really tell. I don't know.
Right. I was getting 11, 12. Why we stop at 10? Why we stop at 10?
Right.
So yeah. But that is going to do it for today, guys. We are at 2 hours and 47 minutes. We are close to the 3-hour mark. Thank you guys for coming through. We've been doing 3 hours like the last few times. I wasn't trying to make it the norm, but we just get a lot to talk about. So
yeah.
Before we get out of here, Jack, what you got up for us, bro?
Just posted a video centered around hardware and software exclusives. Much of what you've seen lately is this big fuss behind Xbox, decision to continue to press forward with Play Anywhere. They've been talking about it for years, and this is the route that they've been talking about going, and really trying to break down to people that there's not just software exclusives. Like, there are hardware exclusives in the nature of quick resume play. When you talk about having the ability to download a game before you purchase it, so that way you don't have to sit and wait for a game to install when you buy one.
Right.
I think that's an amazing feature. Like the fact that I can be at work and really say, okay, I want this game, go to the Xbox app, download it, it installs to my console. I go get the game, bam, I don't have to wait. I can get right into it. I think that's a crazy feature.
Yeah.
And then I just go into that on both Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation's aspect of everything. Because, yes, PC is getting almost everything at this point, minus Nintendo games. But ultimately, you investing into that hardware you're getting some features that PC doesn't have.
Yeah.
And one of the key things that console will always have that PC won't is the easy plug and play nature of it. Like you don't have to tinker with anything on any of these consoles, and that's going to always be a winning factor for most gamers. Not having to worry about 4 or 5 different installs on one device. So that's what that video ties into. So definitely go check it out. Also, after this, I need to send it to him. But the whole MSM crew, we're really in film mode at this point. Like TJ and Zap more than we are, but definitely getting stuff ready for my album coming up this year. Then also like doing like some of our engagement videos of like selecting some of our favorite verses that we've done, or having some trivia like Zap's been doing on people guessing what verses or what song this verse is from. But just really trying to really engage with the masses and get the music out there, because I mean there's a lot coming. And then even though Rain is not MSM, I know he's got a project he's working on that's supposed to be out this year too. So I think it's really dope music coming. But then, like always, subscribe to all of us. We all provide some different opinion, different look, different presentation, what have you. It's all there. And then, like I said, starting in February, I'll do my first live.
Okay.
Very first live. So I'll start kind of promoting that pretty soon. Just kind of like really putting it out there so people can get prepped for that live coming that Thursday, and then also kind of like have it set for that news segment to go out for the first time on that same night, on that same day, and then really start ushering in not only like me doing that, but then also introducing the new character that's going to be doing the news channel with me. Just kind of playing 2 different people since I've learned how to do that whole masking thing in editing. And I think it's pretty dope because I've seen people do it to where it's like they're talking to each other in the videos, and then I saw how they did it, and I'm like, okay, all right, I think that'd be dope to have like me and some fictional character like really doing the news in a comedy centered way, but still giving you the gaming news. And I think that'd be pretty dope. And as I expressed before, reaching out to all of you to kind of be spots on there too. So if I need you to get on like, hey Sandstorm, I'm coming to you for this news update, and then I have like a little box as if you're standing outside with the microphone like you're doing the news to do like an update, I think it'd be pretty dope. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that, man, for sure.
Yeah, without question. I'm on there. So Exodia, it was going to be a tad bit longer pause. Because you got to make sure you cover your bases.
I see.
Because we were going to talk about this whole comment and conversation, but I'm gonna save it for the Winging It podcast tomorrow, because I'm sure we'll all have our thoughts about it. I posted this on Twitter, so it's been kind of the talk as of lately on my Twitter channel.
That could be a whole show,
right? That's why I chose not to, because I knew it was going to turn into like a whole 4-hour,
that's a whole
5-hour thing. We don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, so that's wild.
But yes, so yes, we will have that conversation more than likely tomorrow. Thank you, Square, for coming through. Dark Void, all my moderators, Jay Biggs, Grant Smith. Who else was in here? Who was the first person who got in here?
Was it was
Exodia.
Yeah, Exodia. Okay.
Exodia, Trinell, thank you for coming through. RJ, thank you for coming through. Andre, appreciate you. Risky, thank you. TNG, appreciate y'all. Before we get out of here, you know how we do. We throw out a little prayer. Just a little bit of prayer. Father God, thank you for allowing us. Hold on, I need to put this on pause. Thank you, Father God, for allowing us to come together today and just discuss the things that we love. We honor you and glorify you and praise your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys later.